Gaming news today is all about behind the scenes. First, Rockstar seems to be gearing up for something with the big Discord push and an announcement. This is not the first time they appear to be making preparations for a marketing push. Now, I'm going to tell you what one of my very reliable sources told me about the next wave of GTA 6 marketing and why this Discord announcement is probably connected to it. Secondly, apparently, Ubisoft entertained would-be IP purchases with both Microsoft and EA, and this is problematic for a handful of reasons, and we'll get into the information. Third, more info is coming out about the alleged Xbox handheld that is claimed to be arriving this year. We now have a manufacturer who is apparently the one who is going to be making the handheld, and that is something that is very, very surprising, and I don't think it's going to land exactly how people were hoping. Lastly, an insider is claiming that a very coveted remake is getting announced sooner than planned. It was even sort of moved back earlier into the calendar, which is sort of par for the course for some games right now. And as always, I do have a game to put on your wish list and your radar that might already be there, but it's a great reason to check it out for the very first time. As always, if you're watching this content right now in the live audience, be sure to hit the like button and give us our first 100 likes. And if you're watching later, the like button still helps. Hit subscribe. Make sure your bell button's set to all. Sometimes it gets switched to personalized. And if you want to support the channel directly, be sure that you hit that join button and pick the $6 membership. That gets you into all the extra live shows that we do. All right, so what's going on with GTA 6? Now, obviously, we're trying not to cover GTA 6 too much. I get it. It's like every time, an insider farts, we have to talk about it. So I'm trying to limit this to about once a week, but this did seem worth covering. In case you missed it, we did cover recently the possibility of whether or not the game would be 60 FPS. I actually argued in a video on the channel right now that I believe there will be a 60 FPS mode. If you watch that video, I look at a lot of different things. I look at the fact that there is industry behavior that has changed about 30 FPS. I look at the fact that Rockstar has done quite a bit of movement with their own game on PC as well as console with GTA 5. And at the time of covering that, I had people coming in and telling me, they said, listen, they're doing something with the Discord. They're doing something with their Discord. They seem like they're getting ready. Well, it seems like they are. Just yesterday, both Discord and Rockstar did a strong push to promote it, which this could actually lend credence to the prediction that they are gearing up for marketing. Rockstar tweeted the following. They said, Rockstar Games is now on Discord. Connect with players from across the community on our newly launched official server and use the LFG channels to fill out your crew. And then Discord retweeted and said the official Rockstar Games server is live. Connect with other players in their LFG channels and stay up to date on the latest news. Now, I was told by a very reliable source, this is somebody who has some contacts, they've been getting a lot of things right, and they said, listen, GTA 6 marketing is set to start in May, and apparently it's going to have some ties to PlayStation, like PlayStation's going to be a part of it. That lines up with some other things that we're hearing. There are insiders claiming that PlayStation's considering doing a showcase this year, and they're leaning toward showcase. That's probably because they have a lot bigger announcements to make than usual. We probably are going to see a lot of those first-party games that they've already announced, like Saros, Intergalactic, and others, maybe get those release windows for 2026. Now, that could be also tied to the GTA 6 ramp-up. We know that during Summer Game Fest season, we know during, showcase season that PlayStation likes to do things in May. They typically like to do it right before June. They kind of like to go first. Now, typically, when a company starts ramping up and marketing more, they also use Discord. They'll say, hey, jump in our Discord. We'll be pushing updates and things in there. They'll be sharing art. So that could be why this Discord partnership is being announced so early. They want to kind of get people in there ahead of time because there'll be an even bigger flood of people once they finally drop that trailer. Now, I don't expect anything from Rockstar or the GTA 6 trailer 2 until after April. They are going to have another earnings call in April. Now, at that point in time, we're getting one or the other. We're either going to get an announcement that it's been delayed, but if they go into that earnings call and they once again say, yep, the game is slated for fall of 2025, then I would set your eyes on May for things to heat up. That's when they'll start pushing the marketing. that's when they'll start pushing the content. All right, so what's going on with Ubisoft trying to sell IP to Xbox and EA? Well, Insider Gaming reported and said that a Ubisoft shareholder claims company failed to disclose meetings with EA and Microsoft about IP acquisition, and here's what they said. AJ Investments, a firm with less than a 1% stake in Ubisoft, says that the studio is horribly mismanaged by current management. In addition, the firm's CEO says that the company failed to disclose reported meetings with EA and Microsoft, among other interested parties, regarding potential acquisition of Ubisoft IPs. So listen, this obviously is just more trouble for Ubisoft, but it spells trouble for their IP, right? Currently, I don't think anybody has an unlimited amount of developers and an unlimited amount of resources. So to suddenly take on something like the Assassin's Creed franchise, I don't think you would necessarily have anybody that could pick up the work and do it. If Assassin's Creed as an IP got purchased by EA or Microsoft, they could do it and just let it sort of sit there, right? They could also hand it to a developer that's not really qualified to build it. I don't doubt anybody wants to take that, on the extra work and operating cost right now, right? I don't think anybody wants to do that, because that is definitely expensive. If you look at how many studios Ubisoft has and how many people they would typically have working on an Assassin's Creed, it's an awful lot of bandwidth. And it doesn't seem like they're trying to sell the developers. It seems like they're trying to sell the IP from what has been said. With how Ubisoft is handling this, I could see them just trying to sell off the IP for capital and then shuttering all the studios. In other words, there's a very slim possibility that this results in something good for both the IP as well as the studios attached to them. So we're going to wait to see how this develops. I'm obviously worried AC Shadows could be one of the last Assassin's Creed we get for a very long time if this goes sideways. Now we're getting more information about the Xbox handheld. The Verge is now claiming that the Xbox handheld coming this year will be made by Asus. Now, in case you missed it, Jez Corden at Windows Central already had an exclusive on this. He said that a handheld made by another manufacturer was coming this year. Now, Jez has since corroborated the claim from The Verge and said, yep, it is going to be Asus, okay? Here's the thing, though. Many people are getting a little bit confused here. This is not going to be an Xbox handheld. It will be an Xbox-branded Asus handheld. We're also now hearing that means you won't be able to play all your Xbox games on it, because it's not going to be any different than a PC is right now. It's a very limited amount of games that you can play. Your backwards compat library is not there. Not even all your Xbox games are there, right? So this essentially is going to be a handheld PC made by Asus with the Xbox brand on it. As I said, I don't think this is going to land quite in the way that people were hoping. I think people were really hoping for Xbox to be sort of clapping back or answering back with this thing, and I just don't think so. I'm not really sure what the goal is, other than, as I said, it's kind of shooting for like a cascade of access points, like they just kind of want to be everywhere. But that's what's coming this year if all goes according to plan. A handheld made by Asus. It'll be Xbox branded. So, the next bit of news is good news, though, for Xbox fans. The Oblivion remake is apparently happening sooner than everybody thought. Xstasis, industry insider and contributor to Insider Gaming, took to Twitter to say the following. He says, according to insider Nate the Hate 2, Bethesda could reveal the new version of Oblivion between March and April of 2025, with a release scheduled before June. The insider claims the announcement was planned for mid-year, but everything points to it being brought forward. If this is true, we could see the remake of one of the most iconic RPGs in history very soon. Now, this could be in line with some other things that were happening at Xbox. They were definitely shuffling things around. They made Outer Worlds 2 move back earlier, right? They made it land earlier, and we were told that was to replace something that had slipped. And I kept saying that I thought the game that slipped was Fable, and recently we found out that Fable did indeed get delayed out of 2025, okay? This could be part of that reshuffling, right? They want to ensure the calendar is very full from the Xbox studios. And Nate has a pretty good track record recently with Xbox insider information. So we could be seeing an announcement about this anytime soon and having it even land before June, which I think would really, really excite the people that have been waiting for it. Now, as always, I've got a game for your wish list and your radar, and this game in particular is probably already on your radar, but I'm really in Pocket Pair's corner as they fight against Nintendo's bogus trademark lawsuit. We want Nintendo to lose that lawsuit. We do not want Nintendo to win that lawsuit. And they just announced something pretty exciting. This is what they said. Palworld's crossplay update is coming late March, multiplayer across all platforms, and world transfer for PALs. To celebrate this update, Palworld is 25% off on the PlayStation Store and Steam. Don't miss it. This is all the more reason to jump in and support the game and support the devs. It's 25% off. It's going to be easier to play with your friends by the end of the month that we're currently in. We're currently in March right now. So if you've been on the fence about Palworld, it's gotten great reviews. Everybody seems to really enjoy it. Support these guys. It's on sale right now, and that crossplay is coming this month. And that's the news. And now it's time for the discussion. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure that you guys smash the like button. We already have 100 likes, so let's set our sights on 200 likes. Thanks for a strong start already. A late start to the day. I got a sick kiddo, and another one had some teeth pulled, so it was a bit of a busy morning in the house this morning. And let's see who is already turning up the heat. J Hart, was that an upgrade or a renewal? We have been pushing to get more and more people on Member Plus. The introductory membership of Membership Lite or Member Lite is reserved for gifting, and they do not get into all of the live shows. So if you upgrade for that $1, oh, it's a rejoin. Thank you so much for the renewal. So Han shot first, and so did you. That's the first member of the day. That gets us to 270, and then the first gifted of the day is going to go to Shiny Red Flag, and that gets us to 271. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. It is greatly appreciated. And Pathalon Phoenix with the first 5 bomb. So generous lately, Pathalon Phoenix, the support of this channel. This channel is a full-time broadcast, a full-time talk show every day of the week along with uploads, and it is only possible because of the direct support from folks like yourself. We are not nearly at the size that we would need to be to do this full time. It's made possible by you. That's why we continue to charge people to consider jumping in and supporting directly with the Member Plus membership. And they've made it easier to upgrade now on the iPhone and Android as well. As long as you have the latest version, there should be an upgrade button when you go to the membership tab on my channel. The Spectre Divide pulled a Concord. Well, yeah, I know people are going to talk about that in a particular way, which I don't think is helpful. I think the easiest thing to say is we have another live service PvP shooter game that didn't make it. So, while you're researching, did you see anything to suggest Nintendo already won the lawsuit? I haven't seen that reported anywhere. I feel like that would have made pretty significant headlines. I've not seen any reports about whether or not they won or lost. So, yeah, don't know. I don't know in either direction. We know they made some changes to Palworld, right? We know they made some changes to Palworld, so they may have been making adjustments to system mechanics to avoid or to weaken their lawsuit or for them to win the lawsuit. I don't know. A Galaxy Showcase is going to have Konami, Team 17, and Kepler Interactive. Oh, okay. Well, we'll usually look at that kind of stuff afterwards. I don't think that's necessarily a show that we would cover. Can't wait for news about Mafia and Dying Light. Never even heard about that game until it was closed down. It is unfortunate. It is. It's really unfortunate that such a thing would happen, but it's just the nature. It's why I continue to say, if you're going to set your sights on the live service pie right now, I think it's just a bad, and a 10 bomb from Rissick. He comes in and gets us to 286. Thank you so much, Rissick, for just the continued amazing support of this channel. If you guys get a gifted membership from somebody here, man, be sure to say thank you to them and consider using that newly minted upgrade button on the mobile. Apparently, it was Shroud's game. And a gifted comes in from Dylan. Thank you so much for moving the member line a little bit more. It was Shroud's game? I hadn't really heard about it. I recognized the name. I was like, oh, I think I've seen people talking about that. But I was like, I hadn't heard much about it. I hadn't seen a whole lot of people talking about it. And a 5 bomb comes in from Rissick. Rissick's just throwing everything at the wall here, and he gets us to 292. Thank you so much, Rissick. Rissick's doing his own little member train, guys. You can always join in if you want to help out. Who's Shroud? It's pretty popular, pretty well-known first-person. Well, he's usually in first-person shooters. He's very, very talented in those games. He's always been very good with aim, like crazy aim. Keep up the good work. I'm sorry. Keep up the great job, Reforge. Watched you on P-Rock's channel the other day. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. My daughter had teeth pulled, and she's coming in to scold me about yelling. She says, oh no, okay, hold on. She's going to write on my dry erase board. She's got gauze in her mouth. Thank you for the $10 super chat. And a renewal from Anthony Robinson says, count it, dude, and gets us to $2.93. Thank you so much. I forgot to set the super chat goal, so let me do that. Every 5 super chats, as long as they're over $5, I will gift a member. So I give back to the community every 5 super chats. She said you did the math wrong. 292. 286 plus 5 equals. Oh, it was 287, kiddo. She's trying to correct my math. 991. Yeah, you must not have heard it. Yeah, it was a 287, kiddo. Count it, gamer dude. Thank you, Anthony Robinson. I appreciate it. Yo, good morning, Trippy Moon. How are you? How long does that Fragpunk game have until it's dead? I have no idea. It's tough to know, man. It really is tough to know. Like, my personal estimation is that if you're going to have success in that market, you're going to have something that just makes you break out, and I don't know what it would be. You know, Mike on the mic with a $5 super chat. What's up, Lono? What's up, chat? Thank you so much. Can you please do a recap? I'm late. What about the GTA 6 marketing? So I think GTA 6 is gearing up. They're getting ready. They just did an announcement yesterday to get into their Discord for all their latest like news and announcements, and Discord was a part of the announcement, right? So the way I look at it, is, from what I've heard, they're likely not going to say anything until May, okay? They're likely not going to say anything until May. So it seems as though they're gearing up, and this is what I think they're going to do. I don't think they're going to say anything, post anything, no trailer, like the GTA 6 trailer 2, or art. Sometimes they start with screenshots, right? I don't think they're going to do any of that until May. I think they're going to, April, they're going to have their earnings call, and they're either going to say that the game is still slated for fall, or they're going to announce a delay. So if they don't announce a delay in April and the earnings call doubles down on the, yep, it's coming in, what's the word? It's coming in fall of 2025. If they double down on that release window, then I think they'll start the marketing in May. I've been told that May is when we should see things, and that PlayStation will play a part. And it came from somebody that's gotten a lot right lately. And a gifted from Risic. Thank you so much. That gets us to 294. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very, very much. And guys, try to get us to 200 likes really, really quickly. We made some changes that should start helping these videos perform better, but it sometimes takes a couple of days. So we're having a nice turnout, and that can speed up the turnout. And Risic gets another one. He gets us a 5 bomb away from 300. Thank you so much, Risic. So yeah, get us to 200 likes. And then what are you doing, Risic? And Risic does another single and gets us to 296. Risic's just going to do a single gifted train all by himself. So yeah, guys, make sure you're smashing that like button. 200 likes this early in the stream will really, really help. Is he setting up his own bomb? I have no idea. And a 5 bomb, Agents of Chaos. He gets us to 301. He just does his own thing. You know, Risic just does his own thing. He's just on his own wavelength. He's like, I'm gonna do a 5 bomb Agent of Chaos. That's his goal in life, is to do it his own way. With it not releasing on console, I give it about 21 Concords, 10 months, because I hear the gunplay is great. Yeah, I think the problem with Fragpunk on PC, though, is, again, you're competing with so many other games that are eating up people's time that, you know, they'll try your game for an afternoon and just go back to whatever they typically play. Do I think any games would be pushed back? I think any game that has been announced and is, you know, if it's any game that's been announced that's slated beyond the summer, I think is at risk for sure. And Brandon Gifts a member. Thank you so much, Brandon. Because, number one, I think people are worried about GTA 6. They obviously want to avoid GTA 6 in the calendar. I think that's an issue. So that's something you've got to consider. You've got to consider the fact that, like, if you land in proximity of GTA 6, it can really, really hurt your game. So I think as soon as we get beyond summer, I think the calendar is going to get really, really slippery. And Brandon's going to gift another one and get us to 303. Thank you so much, Brandon. Brandon may be trying to set up a 20-bomb dunker to 325. Right now, I owe you guys 5 members. Make sure you're hitting subscribe. That way you don't miss the content. And make sure you're hitting the like button. You guys are crushing it this morning. Did you say that May info came from someone who has or has not gotten things right? They have gotten a lot right. There have been recent things that they nailed bullseyes on. They seemingly have contacts on both sides of the aisle. And VIP from Tyler, and that gets us to 304. The individual that I've been speaking with, they seemingly have contacts and solid information from both Xbox and PlayStation. So I would say that if they're continuing to get good info, if they're continuing to get good insight, I think May is when we see things heat up. And another one from Brandon. There it is. We're going to see if anybody takes the bait. Brandon's out here fishing for a 20 bomb. It'll be the first 20 bomb of the day. Thank you, Brandon. What, kid? I'm like actually streaming. Okay, yeah, don't do it as a joke. Okay, don't do it as a joke. Sorry, she needed her gauzes changed. I gave her like a little noisemaker. I was like, because she can't say anything. And she's like out there clacking it, so I had to go change her gauzes. And Haseo with a gifted member. Thank you so much, Haseo. And he makes the 20 bomb will be an agent of chaos if it shows up. Thank you so much, Haseo. Guys, give me 10 more likes. I hate to jump up out of the chair like that, you know, but it can kind of sometimes hurt momentum. All of a sudden have that radio silence. I am sorry about that. What do we got here? I think Fragpunk will do fine due to the hot female characters. My issue always with a game like Fragpunk or any game is we really don't know until we get to the 6th month, right? We really don't know until we get to that 6th month period. You know, you have a morning sickness? Well, I'm sorry you're having that, Ice Queen. What's your opinion on Sony backporting FSR? This guy's the worst, taking care of his kids. Yeah, she's fine. She was laughing, but she needed my help. Hey, Lono, there is a Rainbow Six Siege events today about their new game at 1 p.m. Yeah, we wouldn't cover that. Thanks, though. I appreciate the heads up. You're doing Dad's work. Good to see you. Good fight. Well, I appreciate that. I was trying to find a noisemaker for her. I was like, she's not going to be able to get my attention. I don't want to have to get up off the couch. So I found one of those things where it's like two plastic hands and you go back and forth. It's like I knew I would hear that. So, and then my boy is getting checked out, and we're funny enough, we're crossing our fingers and hoping he has strep. And a 5 bomb comes in from Cat Uncle and gets us to 311. Thank you so much, Cat Uncle. Greatly appreciate you guys continuing to support the channel in the way that you do. And thank you for 200 likes as well on the video. If you guys get a gifted membership, always remember to say thank you to the person who did it. Just tell her to super chat. Yeah, she just needs a super chat or gift a member to get my attention. We hope our son... Yeah. That's right, Jack Garland. Oh, no. Reforge Gaming says he hopes his son has strep. We're just hoping it's strep because that would be, that would be a very simple solution to him, having another day of some nausea. That's one thing I don't miss about kids being little, the constant illnesses. We have gone for such a long stretch with nothing. It's like we're finally getting our comeuppance as parents. We've gone 5 years without anything like major at all, other than like maybe a fever or some like, rough seasonal allergies. So in any case, so, the question about the GTA 6 marketing and the timing, again, the information that I'm getting is seeming to indicate that they're going to ramp up in May, and they are going to as well. They are as well seemingly going to have some kind of a deal with PlayStation. And I don't know. I don't think there's going to be any kind of an exclusivity deal. I don't think there'll be anything like that. I don't think there'll be any time exclusivity or anything in that regard. But I do think, PlayStation's going to leverage what they can to either try to get like a marketing deal, maybe some bundles. And thank you guys. We're at the highest we've ever been on Member Plus and above. We have 607 people. I really appreciate it. So curious what you guys think. There's a handful of headlines out there. The other thing is the Xbox handheld that is sort of landing. I think it's landing a little flat with the Xbox Loyal, if I'm honest with you. I think they were a little excited, I saw, somebody who was like seemingly really like, oh yeah, man, here comes a great thing from Jez. And, I think Jez did a good job with the article. But I definitely don't think it's landing as strongly as folks were thinking. Like, it's just going to be an Xbox branded like Asus handheld. And you won't be able to even play all your Xbox games on it. So, yeah, I don't think, and this is why I kind of I was really trying to give people caution the other day. I was like, I really hope y'all can see, like, if you think, like, we read through, Jez's article, and I did link to Jez's article in the description of that video. So if you guys watch that video and you appreciate, the quotes and things that I pulled out, I did put a link there. I'm trying to be better about that. It's really hard. Like, I write everything the night before, and I don't write the description until the next day. So it's hard to kind of go back through and figure out where I pulled quotes from and stuff. It can be, but I'm trying to do that. I know it's a nice thing to do for them. But give me 1 second. She just wanted to watch a show. Jake says, I gotta wait and see as someone who already has a ROG Ally. If the goal for the Xbox Loyal was to compete with PlayStation, then a handheld was never going to cut the mustard. If the goal is to create a good piece of secondary hardware, then a handheld may do well. But I would be curious to see, I mean, obviously if there's anybody here, weigh in on this. If you've been super loyal to Xbox and you've got your, you got your console, you got your games, you got Game Pass, does this even kind of a thing speak to you? Right? Because it's not, Like when I bought the Portal for $200, it's an extension of my PlayStation 5, and they just added more cloud games to it, like the classic library. So now it's a cloud device and it's a remote play device. So it's actually, funny enough, I was joking about this in Morning Coffee this morning. It's like, it's actually gotten better with time. You know, there were a lot of people that were sort of naysaying the Portal and saying that it was going to be DOA and nobody would want it. And it was like, well, I didn't agree. And clearly, if you look at the sales figures, it did very well. And it's getting better with time. So something I spent $200 on that was more limited in functionality now has more functionality, now has more things for me to play on it. So it's giving me more access. It also gives me access to my PlayStation and all of my games through my PlayStation. Eventually, I'll probably be able to access all my games through the cloud, right? They're moving through the legalese of getting that approved. So that's gotten better with time. I don't know if I would be like, if I was still diehard Xbox, like I don't know if I'd be compelled by a handheld that couldn't even play all of my games. Like what would I use that for? Why would I not just get a Steam Deck at that point? If I'm wanting something additive, why wouldn't I just get a Steam Deck? Like why wouldn't I have already purchased something like that? Like I guess my question is, who right now has been holding out but then will buy this? We want native handhelds. But what do you mean? Native handhelds have been in the market for a couple of years now, and they're not selling at an insanely high level. They're selling, but they're not like 6 million over the course of how many years? 4 million of those are the Steam Decks. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know who. I guess I'm curious. Like everybody said that the Portal, like who wants this? Who's this for? And then it sold really, really well. My question with this device is, if you haven't purchased one of the handhelds yet, an Asus ROG or a Steam Deck, what would make you purchase this? Just because it's Xbox branded, or, you know, maybe it's newer and can do more. Maybe, you know, it's more powerful or something. I don't know. In truth, I think the Portal is the best possible outcome for a console handheld. I know people say they want native handhelds, but I think the market has spoke, and they're not in high demand. I think the biggest struggle you're going to have with a native handheld is, I think they're going to get better. Right? Performance will get better with things like frame gen and things like upscaling, but you're still always going to run into the trouble of the price, right? Like a Portal is $200. Like that's the price of like a really nice controller. Like if you get like a DualSense Edge or an Xbox Elite controller, the Portal is the price of a controller. I think that's an easier sell than, well, here's a native handheld for the cost of a console or more, right? We don't know what the price, if PlayStation ends up doing their handheld, right? We don't know what the price will be. So the price will be a bit of a barrier there. But if you're getting essentially a console in your hand, I think that's different than like a gaming PC handheld. Does that make sense? 52,000 subs, what's the goal for the year? Well, we were on pace to land really close to 100K by the end of this year, but everything came to a screeching halt. Like platform-wide, something's going on with subs. Sub counts just came to a screeching halt for like all channels. So I'm not sure what's going on. They could be doing, you know, clearing out, you know, bots or something, so everybody's channels are taking a hit. I just don't know. We're not a very big channel, so we haven't seen big dips at all. We haven't really seen any dips. But the growth just stopped. I'm not sure what happened. Microsoft is introducing an Xbox AI that helps players finish games with real-time advice. Yeah, that's not the first time we've seen AI being researched for that. So, what are your thoughts on the Days Gone remaster for PS5? I was actually kind of holding out and hoping that they would do it because I played Days Gone on my PC, and I really liked it. It's a very good port, and I enjoyed the game. I thought it was very well built. I really enjoyed the characters. I especially liked, they did really good emotion capture. So I was kind of holding off. I was like, I'd rather play it on my PS5 Pro in my living room because that's just more comfortable than trying to come into my office. I really just don't like playing games in my office anymore, unless I'm streaming, right? Once I'm done for the day, I don't like to be in here. I like to kind of be out there relaxing. And so I was like, I was really hoping they would do it. And so I'm excited to play it. Now I understand why other people would be like, I don't really want that. It's not, you know, I don't want to buy that. And I can understand people being frustrated with Bend because they were working on a live service game that got canceled. And I think people were hoping for a sequel. And they're seeing the remaster as kind of like a bit of a bummer. So I could see both sides of either being excited to play it because maybe you never have. There's a lot of new folks to PS5, but I could also see like long-standing PlayStation owners being kind of annoyed if they've already played it. A $2 super chat from Juice Man. Native handhelds with name recognition will sell. You know, I actually think that's fair pushback. I do. I wonder if gamers will be more inclined to buy a handheld that has the Xbox logo on it as opposed to, like, what's Asus? Like, you're only familiar with Asus if you've, like, purchased, you know, a gaming laptop before, or you've sort of been in and around, you know, monitors and gaming PC peripherals. So, you know, your average, maybe more casual gamer is potentially less familiar with a Steam Deck or an Asus, and they'll see an Xbox branded handheld and they might be more compelled. I think the reason it's still going to be a hard sell is it's not really going to be an Xbox, though. It's going to be an Asus handheld with the Xbox logo on it. Like, you won't be able to access all your Xbox games. So I think you're going to have a potential like break of expectations there. Or like somebody goes to buy it thinking they're buying a handheld Xbox, and they're going to say, wait, this isn't a handheld Xbox. It's something that's basically already been in the market. It just is now branded. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. Split Fiction sold 2 million copies in 1 week. Man, good for them. Good for them. They're showing it at the GDC right now. Huh? Seems to me like Xbox is trying to convert Xbox players to PC. No, I don't think so. I think that Xbox's goal is to have their access points sort of mimic and mirror the software. Does that make sense? I think they're going to be in for a bit of a challenge, given how, like, a lot of the Xbox games and a lot of the backwards compat Xbox games, they're just not on PC. Like, I've been with Xbox since the 360, and I can't boot up on a PC and get all my games. So their whole slogan, this is an Xbox. No, my PC's not an Xbox. It isn't. It isn't. My Xbox is an Xbox. I turn on my Series X, and I can play my games from 360 era, from the Xbox One era. I can play all my Xbox games from this era, and that is not true about my PC. So no, my PC's not an Xbox. It isn't. That marketing campaign, the more I think about it, the more bizarre it is. You're going to hold up this handheld like, this is an Xbox, but not really. No. You're not going to be able to go from your Xbox in your living room to this thing and have this seamless, all my stuff is here. Do you understand? Like, it's to me, it's kind of misleading. To me, it's misleading marketing. You're telling people that everything is an Xbox when in fact that is not true. The most Xbox you can own is a Series X or a Series S. You can with first party games? Yeah, but that doesn't no, you can't. I can't play first party back compat games right now on my PC. What do you mean? I don't have access to everything right now. It's kind of patronizing. Why do you think it's patronizing? Somebody's kind of agreeing with you. They're saying it's condescending. Handheld PC is totally not an Xbox without xCloud. But you can't access all the games yet. They're marketing the cloud. Well, okay. Deuterino, how would you feel if I marketed my restaurant to you and I said, we've got 25 different types of pizza, and you come in and you're like, where is it? And you're like, well, we're going to get there eventually. We actually only have 10 types right now. You'd be like, wait, what? Like, well, eventually. Well, why don't you market that when you get there then? Does that make sense? Like, I don't like the marketing, even if I use it. Yeah, right? Like, you're selling somebody an idea and a vision, and it's like, well, that's not even true yet. I mean, it'll be true eventually. ... Hopefully. Right? You're hoping that third-party companies... This is totally related to this Xbox handheld, by the way, which is in the headline, in the news. This is relevant to what we're talking about. I don't know who exactly you're selling this idea of cloud to. Are you selling it to the consumer? And is the consumer buying it? And secondly, and more importantly, what about all the third-party developers? We've been talking about this a lot recently. Like, I want you to imagine you're a third-party developer. Do you want your game streamed on the cloud? Do you? You may answer that question 10 different ways. You may say maybe. You may say no. You may say, it depends. Could we take a look? Could we test it? Like, I don't think every single third-party developer is going to want their games played on the cloud. Like, both PlayStation and Xbox are dealing with this at a legal level. They have to get the end-user license agreement, the EULA. Those have to be updated to allow these games to be streamed on the cloud services. This is why the Portal was able to work, because you're not streaming the game on a cloud service. You're playing it literally on your PlayStation. You're just playing remotely. That's how they got around it. So the reason that I can't play all of the games I own on PlayStation right now through the cloud on my device is because of the legal reasons. Like, they've got to go through and negotiate with all these publishers, developers, and companies who are potentially, they might have a vested interest in you not playing their game on the cloud. Right? If you play their game on the cloud, you might have a bad time and you might blame them. You might give them a bad review. It might misrepresent the game. So this is a direct threat to Xbox's strategy of everything is an Xbox. So imagine with me right now, let's just say Xbox gets to the point where everything they own you can play through the cloud. So if you're on your tablet, your phone, your TV, okay, wherever you decide to access, you can play all of their content. But you have purchased a handful of third-party games that year, and you can't play them through the cloud. That completely breaks that marketing. That marketing and that promise has now been shattered, and it's out of Microsoft's control. Like, Xbox and Microsoft have no control over that. They cannot force a third-party company to allow the game to be cloud streamed. They could say, no, we don't want it to be cloud streamed. We don't think it's a good representation of our product. Our product is played online, and we think that's just going to cause more latency and frustration for the user, and we're not okay with that. Well, now the whole marketing and the whole promise has been broken, and it's not even being broken by Microsoft. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Do you see what I'm saying? I think that their marketing is, I just think it was a very, very, it's a tactical risk that could turn into a significant tactical error. Because you could turn around in 3 to 5 years and the user base that thought it was cool or bought in or decided to get a couple different devices to access their quote-unquote Xbox everywhere, and they actually can't. Some devs have also closed, so the rights and the copyrights are gone. In this time, it's the same with backwards compatible, Paul says. The console right now can play every single 360 game, but they can't do it because of licensing issues. That's what I'm saying. That's a problem. That's a challenge to the promise from Xbox. That's a direct challenge to what they've promised people. That, like, oh yeah, you can totally play your games everywhere, ... but not really. Speaking of handhelds, did you see what Seeds said a few minutes ago about the Portal? Detective Seeds says, I'm being told that the current PSSR and the PS5 Pro is 3 iterations behind what they have currently broken into the Project Amethyst partnership. The current PSSR is expected to be rolled out to the PlayStation 5 portals in the future as well. Not sure if these are new portals. Those will be new. Yeah, there would be there's nothing, you can't put PSSR on the portal. You can't. It doesn't have like native graphics processing that would be able to engage with the PS. It would need proprietary tech there already, like latent in the device. That would come to a later portal. That lines up with my prediction. I said I think they had a breakthrough with the portal. I think they had a breakthrough with PSSR, and so they're going to do a handheld, and that handheld is going to be able to do performance that was previously thought not possible on a handheld. That's what I said. I said I think, because this is the portal is the Q Lite, whatever the normal Q is internally, is going to have this new version of PSSR, which will enable it to run games natively that probably previously was thought not possible. So my estimation would be that that's probably going to be on the runway to the PlayStation 6. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that handheld drop late 2026, maybe in 2027. So there'll be an actual Portal 2 or whatever they decide to call it. Yeah, it probably won't have the name Portal. I think they would call it something else. The Portal does have some local processing. Right, but not to the degree that you could put PSSR on it, Paul. PSSR is like its own proprietary piece of technology. There's no way that's like sitting there latent in the Portal hidden. I think somebody would have found that by now. So, no, it's not machine learning. Yeah. What's the verdict? Okay. It's strep, everybody. And we can all get that, can't we? That's true. Okay.
Well, I can't do it. He doesn't share with me either.
Toys, though. They're touching the same toys. That's a different ball game with kids. I don't know. Everyone says, congrats, yay! Well, hopefully the medicine can put him on the mend so he's not feeling so crummy anymore. Get those antibiotics rolling. Better in a day. Yeah, that's what happened to the little boy across the street. It was like a day later and he was fine. So, guys, if you're just tuning in, thanks for being here, man. Smash that like button. Super close to 300 likes already. Nice, strong start to the day. We're talking about all kinds of different stuff. We talked about GTA 6. GTA 6 is likely, I think, to have its marketing start up in May. We've got good reason to think they're ramping up for their marketing, and I'll tell you why. They just announced a bunch of Discord stuff, right? Nice shirt, thank you. They just announced a bunch of Discord stuff, and that's typically a run-up to marketing. And so I think they're going to say something in April at the earnings call. If they confirm that the GTA 6 release date is indeed still slated for the fall, then I think what I heard about the marketing spin-up in May will happen. And apparently that is going to happen in conjunction with some PlayStation. And so we're also talking about the Xbox handheld details that came out. We're now hearing about a PlayStation handheld update. So nobody really knows how PSSR works also. That's why I love all the clowning on Twitter about it. Yeah, they don't... The PSSR and the FSR thing, to me, the reason it's so hysterical, Paul, is it's like nobody knows their history. Nobody knows their history. It's like all you have to do is look at how DLSS has come ridiculously far to know that the relationship between PSSR and FSR is such a great relationship. AMD has literally confirmed that FSR 4 came out of this relationship with Project Amethyst, and PSSR was helpful in the iteration of FSR 4, and now it's being kicked back the other way, and things from FSR 4 are going to benefit PSSR. I'm going to continue to say you've got to be very careful where you get your information, because I think some people are giving such a clouded version of this, such a very slanted version of this, and people are being very, very, I think, intentionally or not, I think people are being misled. I don't think they understand. I really don't. I mean, if you buy, and this is what I said this morning in Morning Coffee, that it's become almost comical at this point. It's become almost humorous. The PlayStation Portal and the PS5 Pro were decried as scams, stupid, unneeded, DOA, who wants that? And they're both getting better with age. The Portal is getting more functionality and more stuff with age. It's $200. The PS5 Pro is going to get better with age. Like, they're going to improve PSSR to the same degree that you can have a graphics card right now that suddenly you get more longevity out of. You get more from it because they update DLSS or they update FSR. Like, that should be, I just think that should be celebrated. I think gamers should celebrate that. I think that that's good news. I think you seeing a tech company invest in tech getting better You should celebrate that. That's going to help the developers make better games. It's going to help you have better experiences. It should help you have more optimized experiences. Yeah, a Portal 2, Brooklyn. Detective Seeds is learning from his sources that the version of PSSR right now on the PS5 Pro is like 3 iterations behind what they currently have. And a version of PSSR will be pushed out on a Portal. And this is something, I literally said this, and I've got a source that gave me a wink and a nudge. I told you guys a while back, when we started hearing about an actual PlayStation handheld, I said it wouldn't surprise me if it's related to Project Amethyst and PSSR. I said, I bet you they made a breakthrough and said, with this level of upscaling, we could do an actual native handheld. We could do it. We could get things to run a whole lot better than historically would be possible. And somebody gave me a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like I was on to something when I said that. Detective Seeds is now hearing corroborative information to my theory and my little wink, wink, nudge, nudge that I got from somebody. I'm here to tell you, I think instead of if just remove the name from the company. Imagine that it wasn't Sony. Imagine that another company was doing this, some other tech company. Imagine AMD was doing this all on their own. Or Nvidia was doing this all on their own. Wouldn't that be something that most people would think is awesome and celebrate? I don't know. I'm on the side of games and gaming hardware getting better. That's the side I'm on. If your graphics cards get better because of Project Amethyst, I celebrate that. I hope you have a great time. I hope you get better experiences because of this. If the PlayStation 6, if a PlayStation Portal, if future hardware for console lovers, because there are people that just love to have a console. They just prefer it. I want those people to get great devices. That's what I want. Why would you not want that? Would be, I guess, the question. Why would you hope or cheer for something failing or not being good? Do you want gamers to not have a good time? Is that your hope? Is that your aspiration? It seems like that. It seems like there's a wavelength out there of people who want gamers to have a bad time. That I don't understand that. That doesn't compute with me. TVs are going to improve because of tech like this. This usually has a domino effect, a ripple effect. When tech like this advances, it usually ripples out and makes everything benefit. And so I'm excited that in the future, you're going to be able to buy an AMD graphics card and have a better experience because of Project Amethyst. You're going to have a better, life cycle of a graphics card. I celebrate that. I'm happy for gamers in that position. I was excited and I defended NVIDIA when they started talking about frame gen. And everybody was talking about fake frames, and they were kind of disparaging fake frames. And I said, I don't think you guys understand. This type of a breakthrough is going to benefit gamers. It should be celebrated. It should be celebrated. I don't know why you wouldn't celebrate it. A lot of the times I think people are kind of losing the plot. They're not seeing the bigger picture. Anytime, let's just say that you don't like the company doing it, and you like the company over here. You should still want the company you don't like to push really stinking hard, so the company that you like is constantly having to stay one step ahead. Like if you really like NVIDIA, Project Amethyst is good for you. In a complete roundabout, inadvertent way, Project Amethyst with PlayStation and AMD is good for fans of NVIDIA. It's good for you. They're going to always try to stay one step ahead. They might learn something, might say, oh, wow, we didn't even consider that, or whatever. They can observe and study and break apart FSR4 and potentially glean insights or breakthroughs in their own tech. It benefits everybody. I'm cheering for everybody at this point. I want everybody to have a ball. I want you to spend $2,000 on a graphics card and get something amazing that levels up your experience and makes you cry because it's so beautiful. Like that, that's what I want for you. I don't care where you play. I just hope you have a great time. I think that's where I didn't do a good job of communicating this when I was critical of Xbox and the Series S. I think I got too passionate and had too much bluster because that's what frustrated me. It was like, you're giving people something less than what you promised them, and I have a problem with that. I would have loved it if the Series S was a consistent 1440-60 box. I would have thrown confetti in the air and been like, that's amazing. Do you want to know why? I have a family member who is on a shoestring budget, and that was all they could get. All they could get was the Series S. And it pains me to know that they're getting such a diminished experience that could have been so much better if it indeed was as accurate and was as strong as the marketing said. Juice Man says poor gamers want everyone to suffer with them. I've been thinking about that. I have. AMD is the one who makes Xbox hardware, so unless the patents prevent it, future Xbox hardware could benefit from this. Yeah, that's true. They could benefit from the AMD and Sony collaboration as well, like Eugene's saying. Guys, could we get 30 more likes really, really quickly? Let's try to get 300 likes before the hour of the stream, man. Great day today. Thanks so much for tuning in and being here. I've been thinking about that a lot. And I'm in a very privileged position because of what I do for a living. I'm very lucky. I can buy equipment that can be expensive, and it's a business expense, and it's part of what I do. It's part of the ecosystem and the machine that and the space that I occupy. That's a very privileged position. And I don't think I would ever look down on somebody who was like, this is all I can afford. I would never be like, oh yeah, you're a peasant, you have to buy a console, right? This is one of the reasons why I get pretty defensive of the people who bought the Series S, because I feel like a lot of them had no choice because they couldn't get Series X's were constrained, right? Production was constrained, so they had to buy Series S. So I'm always kind of curious, like, what would drive somebody to do that? What would drive somebody to do that? And the only thing I can come back to is I don't think they have the amazingly strong rig that they have a lot of the times. I think some do, but I think a lot don't. I think it just seems driven by something else. It seems driven by something emotional at an emotional level. There's something upsetting them about me buying a Pro and enjoying it, and they have to let me know that their PC is so much better. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like that they're poor and they want others to suffer, but I do wonder sometimes if maybe they don't quite have the insane computer that they're claiming that they have. It seems like it's like maybe they don't, maybe they wish they could. It's almost like they're cosplaying, right? They're imagining that if I had that, I'd be out there bragging and telling everybody what. It's like, most of the people I know with really nice rigs like that, we got people here that hang out. That's just not their posture at all. They just like it and they like to play. They're not bothered by what you play on. Envy is the only thing that makes sense. If your belly is full, why do you care what someone else is eating? It really does, Zubair. Like, it really does feel like it comes from an envious place. It does. Which is unfortunate, because gaming is supposed to be like a happy, joyous thing. So, you hope that they get to a place where that's not the case. Are you calling them imaginary players? I don't know what they are, but I don't think their behavior makes sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense. When I had like a really amazing computer, and okay, I'll relate this to a debate we used to always have. 30 FPS, right? And I would have people say, they're not bothered by 30 FPS, and they were still playing on the console. There were a lot of Destiny players that continued to play Destiny on the console, and I was like, no, dude, I got to play on PC. I can't do this, right? And, I had people saying that I was exaggerating when I said I got headaches from playing Spider-Man and God of War on my PS4 Pro because of the 30. I was literally ending the day, and I was like, why do I have a headache? And it was only on the days I had played those games. I had people that, made fun of me. They were like teasing me. They're like, you're exaggerating, dude. Come on. And I remember in those debates always being like, struggling to understand why anybody would tolerate 30 FPS. Right? But I never really felt like I would make fun of them. It was just like, well, you do you, man. I can't do that, right? And lately I've even said, I told a guy in a comment, because he was like, yeah, I don't mind 30 FPS. I'm like, stay there as long as you can. Seriously. You can play the fidelity modes. You can play the ray tracing modes, you know? And if it doesn't bother you, man, stay there as long as you can, because once you come over to this side, like, there's no going back. There's just no going back. You can't. You get it as soon as you get accustomed to the higher frame rate. It's like there's just no possible way. Even those of you that are accustomed to like 120, 144 know this to be true. But I never felt like, oh, I need to insult these people. You know? Now, I don't like when people defend 30 FPS and say that it's fine and, oh, we played on 30 FPS for years. And it's like, but yeah, that doesn't mean we should still stay there with new hardware. New hardware should be better. New hardware should push things to new heights, should it not? I think that's a fair expectation. Unfortunately, it goes back to people just needing interaction. Can we get real quick, guys, 14 more likes? Do it. We're hitting the 1 hour mark. I wanted 300 likes before the 1 hour mark. Come on, boys. Double check that it's saving your like. Also consider hitting the $sign. You may have a renewal to celebrate of your membership. And you might have an upgrade button on your iPhone or Android now. If you go to my channel and you slide over to the membership tab, you may be able to upgrade to Member Plus. A lot of times people couldn't do that, so double check and see if you can do that. If you need all the RAM, then it's worthy of a trade-up. You're talking to Zinthos about something. Corey says, unfortunately, it goes back to people just needing interaction. Yeah, Zubair suggested me looking into something called what did you say? Gray rocking. And I talked about it a little bit this morning in Morning Coffee. And, you know, I've been reflecting a lot on just how I approach these subjects and the content. And so, you know, I watched these videos about it. And it was extremely eye-opening. I mean, like, it was like light bulb after light bulb after light bulb went off. And I think I'm just really going to change my approach to not just some of the subjects, but even in how I respond to certain things, or just zero response whatsoever. Because a lot of it was about, like, aggressive self-care. Like, you need to care for your own mental state and your own mental health. And I think a lot of what happens in this space, in this gaming space, is people want to spread unhappiness like a virus. And it's really easy to fall into it and to also then feel like, man, the gaming community and the gaming dialogue, it's just such a disaster right now. Not necessarily. And I also think that if I'm going to declare that the conversation and that the tenor and the tone of gaming dialogue is poor, well, then I should attempt to model something better. And I feel like a lot of the times what happens is, I'm still going to get passionate. Like, you guys aren't going to come in here to, like, some, like, neutered version of me where, like, I'm just non-responsive. But I think a lot of the times what I've done is, in my response and in my passion, I've simply been the other side of a toxic coin. Like, well, okay, people are being, you know, false framing, and people are spreading fan fiction, and people are misrepresenting things. Like, a perfect example would be... No, I'm not going to gray rock you guys. No. Thank you for the Member Plus, Dynamite Black for 20 months. Hey, Lono, and the lovely Reforge community. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. But it kind of struck me as, you know, twofold. I think sometimes I was being the other side of a toxic coin. And a good example would be the PSSR situation with FSR. People are spreading falsehood and saying things that are not true. Okay. And I was getting really amped up and animated about that. Well, if you are coming from Twitter or another YouTube video where someone is claiming something false, like, oh, they're backporting FSR, they're replacing PSSR with FSR4, or whatever, all of the false things that were claimed, and you come in here, and I'm kind of being this super animated, super passionate person about it, I'm using very charged language, you're potentially, I think a lot of people are going to do this, a lot of viewers are going to internalize that as he's just on the other side of this toxic tribalistic fight. Instead of just calmly saying, like, a lot of people appreciated my upload because the upload is sort of formulaic, it's structured, it's written, it's recorded, and the live environment gets kind of wild. And so I think a lot of people, commented on my upload, and they said, I appreciate this video just being a calm delivery of the facts and not just a bunch of, fanboy nonsense. And if someone, thinks my video is some kind of a fanboy thing about like saying, oh, it's game changing, that's fine. They can think that. That's my genuine opinion. I believe that. I looked at the interview, and that was the conclusion that I came to. I think that it is. I think it's going to have a significant impact on things in the same way that like DLSS has had an impact on things. Pawpaw hails with a month of memberships. I don't understand any of the console war or PC hate on others for what they play. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, others shouldn't care. Thank you so much. If you are paying for that membership, Pawpaw, you can upgrade to Member Plus, and it'll count in the total. I cannot count Member Lite because that could be a gifted, and then you'd be counting twice. People who think PSSR is going away, I don't think they're straight up dumb or lying, Mr. B. I think there is a sort of a canvas of there's a spectrum here. I think there are people who are willfully misrepresenting it, and they want people to be confused. They want to downplay the PlayStation. I actually think I don't think that's a good thing to do. I think you're confusing the public. I think the public wants to know what's going on. And I think there are people who enter into the dialogue with ill intentions, right? They want to confuse people. They want to sort of obfuscate. They want things to be like muddy, right? I think there are a lot of people in the mix that are straight up confused. Like they don't know what's going on. They don't understand the tech. They don't understand the dialogue or the vocabulary. So a simple YouTube video or a tweet is going to put them on this wavelength. That's why I would like to give people a place to come where it's like, this is just a calm discussion. Now, obviously, it can get fiery and passionate, but like maybe a calm delivery of the facts. We can have fiery debates, but we don't need to debate facts. Do I need to go and passionately defend 2 + 2 = 4? No, that's just a fact. It doesn't even really need me to defend it. It's just a fact. So, attempting to have that posture around facts, I think is just important because it's like, I don't need to defend PSSR, and I don't need to defend against the notion that like, oh, FSR4 is replacing it. That's not true. I don't need to defend the facts. I don't need to defend Cerny's words. I just need to simply state them. My understanding is that FSR4 is using a newer, better training of the model, and that's what will be rolled into PSSR. PSSR is running off of an older trained model. That's precisely the point, and I think that lines up with what Detective Seeds has heard, that the version of PSSR that's currently on the PS5 Pro is like 3 iterations behind. That's what he heard. So, to me, that's not a bad thing. It isn't. Now, if you guys are coming here for GTA 6 news, the beginning of the stream has all that information if you want to rewind. If you want to hit subscribe and ask me what's going on with GTA 6, I got a little bit of an inside angle on this and some scoop on like when the trailer will likely hit. So we're trying to really only cover GTA 6 about once a week. I don't want to have it on the thumbnail and title as often as I was. So we've tried to really limit that. But their announcement yesterday about the Rockstar Discord, that is a sign they're ramping up. They're getting ready. And I think the April earnings call, here's my prediction. I probably should have put this in the show open. I'll give you my prediction on this. I think the reason that Rockstar's ramping up and announcing the Discord stuff now, I think they're on pace. I think the April earnings call is going to re-cement the release date for fall. I don't think you'd be ramping up the Discord if it had been delayed, if that makes sense. If this thing has been delayed into 2026, I don't think they'd be drawing attention to it and having people pile in the Discord. I believe this is phase 1 of marketing. Push the Discord, get people in. April, we re-cement the release date, and then May, the marketing spins up. So GTA 6 trailer 2, I think, is likely slated for May. And Haseo gifts a member. Thank you so much. So if you guys are here for GTA 6 news, I hope that's helpful to you. Again, we're trying to limit it. Make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button. I do a daily talk show like this Monday through Friday. I am safe for work. We have people listen, all day. If you want to listen to me all day, you need to be at Member Plus. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can watch me basically from about 9 in the morning Eastern until 3 in the afternoon. You get the whole day, but you don't get that if you're not a member. You just get this show. So if you like listening to me at length and you like the podcast vibe, hit join, pick Member Plus. It supports me directly, and you get like twice as much content. Thank you, Hasayo. The gifted member you went to Dark Taco. Every game that uses your tech is training data. AMD want all that data for every pro game that's using PSSR, and in turn, they get data for their FSR model also. See, I think a lot of the times people forget that, like, machine learning is learning. Like, it's like the upscaling and AI and machine learning, it's all they're all doing things slightly differently. But what they're doing is they're learning. Like, that's the whole point. That's why DLSS has improved, because it's a learning system. Mine? Hang on a second. My wife's texting me. Give me one. Oh man, this is such a pain. We were having a nice upswing. Guys, go crazy on the like button. I got to make a quick call to my wife. She needs our daughter's social. Sorry. Nothing like digging through your basement for Social Security cards when you're having a nice turnaround on the viewership and whatever. So frustrating. 2-spot from Juice Man. Thank you so much. And a member plus from ADR Zone. I respect that you want to address things respectfully. I'm the same way. But your use of buffoonery is so good. It was the reason that I subbed. Well, thank you so much. Let me add you to the total. 314. And a gifted from Haseo gets us a 10 bomb away from 325. I'll owe you guys 10 when we get to 325. Right now I owe you 5. $10 super chat from True SSJ Havoc. Lona, what's your thoughts on those going around saying that because the next Xbox is getting some sort of Steam integration, they will get Sony games? To me, it seems that it wouldn't be that simple. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat and for gifting the member as well and bumping the line to 416. I'm sorry, to 316. If you guys start going crazy on the likes and gifted members, it will turn the viewer count around. We lost like 100 people. Like, walking away like that is just absolutely terrible. I hate doing it, but I didn't have a choice. Thank you so much for another gifted member as well, True SSJ Havoc. Like button helps the most. Jim D renews his membership as well. Thank you so much to 318. Yeah, the like button's free and it helps the most. Yeah, I don't think Sony would allow that. I think Sony would say, no, that's not okay. Like, I don't care, but I think Sony would. I think Sony would say, no, we're not okay with that. When we entered into an agreement with, with Steam to put our games on Steam, that was not something that we agreed to. You know, massive amount of respect for you putting the kiddos first. It's one of those things where, like, I don't know my kid's social either, and I thought it was going to be like a minute. I thought I was just going to like run over, pull a folder out. It was literally all the way underneath, like 4 crates. I'm like, this should definitely be at the top. And Phil McCook with a 5 bomb. Thank you so much. And that gets us to 523. Thank you so much. We're 2 away. Seriously, that will help turn it around. It'll kind of bounce the stream back from losing like that. That's devastating as a live streamer. That's why you see I don't take breaks when we're live almost ever. So no, I don't think PlayStation would allow that. They just wouldn't. That's the simple answer. I don't think it needs to be controversial or tribalistic. It's just PlayStation entered into an agreement with Steam to have their games in the additive PC market. And suddenly, if they start showing up like on an Xbox device, I think they would say, yeah, no, we're not okay with that. They have every right to determine that, do they not? I mean, it's their stuff, it's their content. They can determine where they want it to go. Like, if you entered into an agreement to have your product sold in a store, and all of a sudden that store started, you know how they have like those combo stores or like those combo restaurants, and you'd be like, wait, I didn't agree to that. Like, I don't want my product next to, that company or that product or whatever. You can have those things baked into contracts, because when it's yours, you can dictate those types of things. So that's perfect, Spice King. The next Xbox console is going to be Windows based. I'll bet the house on it. From everything we're hearing, yes, it's going to be a TV, as Jez Corden referred to it. It'll be a TV-friendly shell that will essentially be able to sideload things, like Steam, for sure. I think it will 100% be some kind of a PC hybrid for the living room. I don't think it'll be a traditional console. All signs point to the opposite. So it's not a console anymore. Yeah, but I think the difference is if it's Xbox branded, Paul. Right? Like, I just think that that's entirely different. I do. I don't think, and again, I don't care either way. It doesn't bother me one bit. Like, I celebrated some of my favorite games going to PC, because that to me is exciting. Like, more people getting to play the games I enjoy, I get excited by that. But I don't think PlayStation's going to be okay with that. I think PlayStation would say, no, we are 100% against our games showing up on an Xbox, because if you go and you listen to Shuhei Yoshida talk about this, right? If you listen to Shu talk about it, PlayStation is very, very meticulous in how they categorize things. So they have their first party, their second party, their third party, and then they have their efforts with PC. And even their efforts for PC is like multifaceted, because you got Herman Holst and Yoshida essentially backing that up. So they look at the PC market and they're like, well, we have live service games day and date. We have our big tentpole titles that come later, hoping to entice people to come over. And then you have the China Hero project that's landing day and date. They don't own the studios or the IP. So PlayStation has a very sort of meticulous, multifaceted approach. And I think the last thing they would want is all of that to get muddled and muddied by all of a sudden their games are playable on an Xbox. Do you see what I mean? Like, I don't think they would be okay with that. They're they seem very precise, very meticulous. And again, if you get into sort of, more Eastern, more Asian, more Japanese philosophy, worldview about, honor, shame, organization, being specific and meticulous, it lines up with sort of their culture and their business practice. I think they would be 100% against suddenly their presence in the market not being clear. Oh, wait, I can play PlayStation games on an Xbox? Like, they would want it to be crystal clear that no, everything they do sort of orbits around the console. The Portal is a driver, to the console. It's an additive thing to the console. The tentpole titles hitting PC, it's meant to be a driver to the console. The China Hero project is meant to drive people to the console. And they're seeing results. If you look at their data, they're saying like, hey, we're getting new users. We're getting people who are new to our ecosystem. So they're having success in those efforts. I think the last thing they would be okay with is having that clouded by, oh, wow, I bought an Xbox and I can play PlayStation games. I don't think that they would be okay with it. It wouldn't bother me in the least if in 3 years you go to the store and you buy an Xbox hybrid PC thing and you could play Ghost of Tsushima. I'd be like, sweet man, I hope you have a good time. I do not care about who can access the games. I care about how quality the games are when they ship. That's always been my biggest sticking point. It's why I've hammered at Monhun Wilds. I'm like, and a lot of people have left comments. They're not even watching my video. Like the Monhun Defense Force, man, they are on that video. They're not even listening because I talk about how fun the game is. I talk about how fun's the factor, and that's the selling point, and that's why people are having such a good time. That's why they're overlooking. And I said, that's a lesson to developers. You can learn something from Monster Hunter Wilds. Well, they're not even getting to that point in the video. They just think, oh, mean YouTube man's insulting my game. I have to go defend my game. And it's like, that's not it at all. I'm being honest and very frank about the bad optimization, the poor image quality, but I give the game its flowers. I'm like, it's selling like crazy, and it's really fun. People are really having a good time, and that's like the cheat code, basically. You can have a game that's rough around the edges and not great, and the fun factor matters. But my issue is it didn't ship at a quality that I think a finished product should ship at, especially from a company of that size. I mean, it's Capcom, for crying out loud. Like, they went from having a track record of being the best at optimizing on multi-plat games, right? PC and console, they were sort of the shining star of the multi-plat world. Like, multi-plat games have been consistently coming out and they're just not optimized well. And then Capcom had a great track record. Well, Dragon's Dogma 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds sort of shot that thing to sunshine. Like, they're no longer the company that you can say, oh yeah, multi-plat games can come out and be perfectly well optimized. Well, who's doing that? Everybody seems to be struggling with it all of a sudden. So I don't care if there's an Xbox PC hybrid in 2027 and you can play Tsushima. Do you know what I'm going to say? Let me know what you think. It's one of my favorite games. I hope you have a ball. Try out Returnal too while you're at it. I mean it. It doesn't matter to me. If the company is successful and make tons of money and the games ship at a very high quality and I keep getting games, I simply don't care what happens along that road. I don't. The journey there doesn't fluster me. It's a matter of, can I keep getting the things that I like at the quality that I expect? I want 60 FPS. I want all the new features. I want it to run well. I want it to look good, not look like crap. True SSJ Havoc says, people think Sony will have to pull games from Steam, but all is probably needed is a code from Steam to prevent the launch on the devices. Yeah, you can hardware block. It's a total thing they can do. It's not that difficult. And that's a $5 super chat. Thank you, True SSJ. Sneaky Wolf says, Sony's a hardware company. They're putting their own IP on Steam with incentives to push hardware. So, you won't be able to. Yeah, I agree with that take. And Hyde with a VIP renewal at 23 months. Playing a Sony game on an Xbox branded PC is different than playing a Sony game on Xbox consoles. If Xbox leaves the console space, Sony wouldn't care, as they wouldn't see them as competition. Thank you so much for renewing your membership. And I don't agree, Hyde. I don't think Sony would see it that way. Yeah. Your membership's gone. Click that join button, man. Now's the best time to pick up your own membership, because then you're not stuck on a gifted. You know, pick Member Plus at $6 and double your content every month. You get to come to the green room in the afternoon. Yeah, I don't agree, Hyde. I don't think PlayStation would view it that way. I think they would say it's an Xbox. That's the issue. See, what you're doing is I think, Hyde, the mistake sometimes I think we make is we forget the level of understanding we have is not what the average consumer sees. The average consumer would see an Xbox. And you could straighten your glasses at them and you could say, oh, but actually, it doesn't matter. The average consumer is going to say, that's an Xbox. And PlayStation's going to say, we don't want the public to think that that's a thing they can do. Oh, I can get PlayStation games on my Xbox. I think PlayStation would be against it. Not because of what the categorical placement the device lands in. Well, it's a PC. Well, it's a PC hybrid. Well, it's a console side loadable PC. Like, none of that matters. The average consumer is going to go, that's an Xbox. They're going to walk into the store and that's what they're going to call it. And I think Sony would say, we don't want that brand to have our stuff on it. That is contradictory to our aims and our goals. Do you want to know why? It goes back to what Sneaky Wolf just said. PlayStation is focused on their hardware. You're coming into the market with your hardware Xbox, and people see that as two different choices in the store. Do I buy a PlayStation or do I buy an Xbox? PlayStation, as a hardware company, wants to remain that identity that, like, you've got to come here for our stuff. Sure, we'll put the stuff on PC later, but they don't view PC as a threat. Hiroki Totoki made that clear. Yeah, there's no legal issue here. Steam already blocks games? Okay, let me phrase this a different way. Let's try this angle. PlayStation has had no problem blocking entire regions from getting their games on PC. Do you really think they'd be bothered by the paltry amount of Xbox branded PC hybrids that the Xbox sells? Do you think they'd care? PlayStation blocks entire regions from buying their games on Steam. This generation of console for Xbox has been abysmal for them. It has been so bad as far as saturation. I don't think a PC branded Xbox is gonna break the door down. It just isn't. Their hardware saturation and demand continues to go down. Whatever this thing is that lands in 2027, it'll saturate the market at a lower amount than the Xbox Series X and S. You put money on that. I think that's an easy prediction to make. I don't think Xbox cares about that. It won't even be on pace to what the Series X and the S did. And in that realm, if PlayStation's willing to block entire regions of the world from buying their games, they're not going to have any problem blocking Xbox PCs from playing their games. They won't be bothered by that at all. They'll say, nope, that grates against our strategy and our marketing push. The Ape Escape level on Metal Gear Solid 3 is not available on Xbox. There you go. I think they'll hold firm. I do. Now, somebody listening to this might be like, "Oh, it sounds like, you're kind of being a pony about this." I genuinely wouldn't care if people were able to do it. I've consistently told people, man, check out Returnal on PC. Check out Ghost of Tsushima on PC. I'm excited for the guys on PC to get the PlayStation games. I'm frustrated when they come at bad quality, like with Spider-Man 2, and now we're hearing Rise of the Ronin's in bad shape. I find that to be frustrating. Why? Because it's bad for the property and the consumer. You're punching both people in the face. You're punching both people in the face. Look at this. Look at this crap. Look at this. Another glorious win for the PC community. This isn't good. Like, guys that cheer a little too hard for PlayStation, they'll celebrate something like that. I don't celebrate that. That's terrible. You have consumers, once again, entering into the market and being like, oh, another PlayStation exclusive came to PC and it's in bad shape. Sony's not going to allow anything that might be considered an Xbox to play any of their games. I know that sounds harsh, but Sony wants people to buy a PlayStation, and if you're unwilling to do that, then your inability to access their games is a you problem. Welcome to Team Ninja PC ports. Right, this is Koei Tecmo and whoever else worked on this. Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja or whatever, worked on the port. I think that it's just another. Again, the consumer isn't concerned with who ported it or who did it. All they know is, yeah, that was another game that was exclusive to PlayStation, and it's coming over here, and it's in bad shape. I'm not even on PC, and I'm frustrated by that. I think that that's ridiculous. If you guys are tuning in and you're wanting news on GTA 6, I can give you a brief summary. We've been trying again to limit how often GTA 6 is on the title and the thumbnail, about once a week. They did a big Discord push yesterday. I am extrapolating from that they're anticipating saying in April next month that the game's on pace for fall, and then May is when the marketing will start. I don't think you'd be pushing the Discord right now if the game was getting delayed. I think they would wait. I think getting people in the Discord doesn't make any sense if you're going to announce a delay. It only makes sense if you're getting ready to turn up the marketing. So GTA 6 Trailer 2 is not close at hand, but I think it lands in May. As the official PlayStation guy in chat, it's not that we cheer for games to not be well optimized for PC. We specifically don't care how the game runs on PC. We care how the game runs on our machine. Well, you can be a PlayStation guy. I think there's a thin line, not a thin line, I actually think there's a fat line between fan and fanatic. You can be a fan of PlayStation and not really care about PC at all. I'm a fan of PlayStation and like their games, and I want them to run excellently on PC. I always celebrate that. I'm like, yes, you guys got a great port. Look at the score. Go buy it. There's guys here on PC that why would I want you to have a bad time? That's just, you know what I'm saying? We're all in the same group and community together. I don't want you to have a bad time. What does that do for me? Haha. Haha, yeah, you're getting bad performance and frame drops. Ha ha ha. What's that do for me? That doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do anything for me. So I would say that crossing over from PlayStation fan to fanatic, I think the fanatics are the ones that want to thumb their nose at the PC guys. And they could say, well, they started it first, and the PC Master Race guys always... So what? So what? I want... This is how I look at it. I want the market of gaming to be as healthy as possible, because then we all get to keep doing the thing that we love. If you like playing on PC, and this guy likes playing on the cloud, and I like playing on the PlayStation, I want us all to keep getting that. I don't want anything to dry up. I don't want something to do poorly, and then they stop doing it. I'll say another way. I'll say it this way. I don't want PC ports of PlayStation games to do so poorly that they stop porting their games to PC. I mean, I don't know if you can call me a pony for saying that. I mean that. I want them to keep doing that. I think it's great. I want Ghosts of Yotei to end up on PC. I think that's great. I want Sucker Punch's work to be seen and experienced by more people. But I like exclusives, and I like limiting the scope of the game because it leads to a better game. I get a great game. I get a game that I know they squeezed the life out of that PlayStation. They got everything they could out of that PlayStation. I got the best version of Yotei if they build it for the PS5 first. I believe that. I believe there is demonstrable evidence that you get the best version of a game when the studio says, let's build it for here first and just here. Right? And then I want it to go other places later, because it's like, if it's amazing, if it's fun, if it's awesome, I don't want you like not playing it. I don't know about anyone else, but when I hear Xbox PC hybrid, red flags go up about paying to play online. Yeah, maybe. Exclusive is anti-consumer. I believe that anti-consumer is a misnomer. It doesn't mean anything. It's a nonsense statement. There's no such thing as anti-consumer. This is what I think anti-consumer has become. It has become a it's sort of like an idiom or a turn of phrase or colloquialism, or it's something that is used so often now it doesn't mean anything. It basically means I don't like what this company's doing. That's essentially what it boils down to. Anti-consumer absolutely exists. How? Where? I need somebody give me an example of what anti-consumer is. I think it's a misnomer. I think it's a nonsense statement. It doesn't make any sense. Because consumer as a word, okay? Like, let's really break it down. Consumer as a word is one who consumes, right? Anti-consumer would be they're disallowing consumption. They're saying, no, you can't buy this. We're only gonna let people with blonde hair buy this. Oh, wait, what? Like, they're not disallowing you to get it. They're simply saying, this is where it's available. Does that make sense? Like, you're a consumer, and you can choose to consume and buy the device or the platform or the thing where it exists. They're not saying, no, you can't buy a PlayStation. You can't buy a Nintendo. No, they're like, yeah, you can buy it. It's right here. You can consume this if you'd like. HBO does that, right? You can consume their television show if you'd like. You can't get it on Amazon or Hulu or Disney. You want to watch The Last of Us, you got to go to them. You're a consumer, and you can choose to consume or to not consume. That's your choice, and they're making it available. It's right here. Anti-consumer doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense. It's like, what do you mean anti-consumer? It's right there for you to purchase. You decide whether or not you think it's worth it. What is this? We are pleased to announce that development for Space Marine 3 has officially begun. We'll have updates when the new title when the time is right. I bet you that's, given size and scope and how big Space Marine 2 is, I bet you that's like 3 to 4 years away. That's probably 3 to 4 years away. Anti-consumer is a political ideology. It's not an actual thing. It's a feeling. Game Pass raising prices is anti-consumer. Why? Let's do this. Let's try this. Let's experiment with this. So Garrett has made an assertion. Now you need to make an argument. So your assertion is, so we got our assertion and we got our claim. Game Pass raising their prices is anti-consumer. Okay, now it's time to argue why. WE patenting the Nemesis system is anti-consumer. Well, that would actually be considered anti-competitive, which is then in turn bad for the consumer. So I think you would want to use a different word there to be a little bit more accurate. Limiting what Nintendo's doing with their patent, that's anti-competitive. So like that's bad for the consumer, like what Nintendo's lawsuit against Pocket Pair is doing, and then the patenting there. That to me that's anti-competitive. You're limiting competition, which in then turn it limits the consumer's ability to choose. Right? Like limiting who could buy a PlayStation, that would be limiting your choice. Your choice is not limited. You have the freedom to go and buy one. It's not being held from you. Making things difficult for the consumer to me is anti-consumer, no matter the intention. That's just my opinion. No, that's fine. I'm trying to understand your opinion. So what is making things difficult? So you're saying raising the price of a subscription makes things difficult for the consumer. Okay. There's a variety of things you could probably say there, right? They might not be able to afford it. They might have to cancel. They might have to downgrade. Now they got to go onto a subscription tier where there's less content and there's advertisements, right? Right, so what Eugene is saying. So let's say they don't raise their price and then the economic structure of it fails and dies and goes away and now nobody gets it, right? Let's say over the years, like Netflix didn't raise its prices and they went into the red and the whole thing disappeared and died as a company. So all those people lose their jobs. All that revenue is no longer going into the economy. All those taxes are no longer going into the government. All those people now no longer have a place of employment. And all the consumers now have something, they have less choice in the market. Because Netflix didn't want to raise their prices and make things hard on you because that's anti-consumer, and then Netflix goes away and they go bankrupt and they disappear because they didn't want to raise their prices. Do you see the problem with this? Hey, it's Chill Will with the Gift of Membership. Thank you so much. And there it is. I owe you guys a 10 bomb. That's $3.25. Let me just do my 10 bomb now. Like, do you see the problem? Like, let's look at it another way. We've talked about how, there's been a lot of claims from Phil Spencer and the head of Xbox Game Studios and other people as well. They will claim that, well, studios want as many customers as possible. I believe that's false. I believe if you look at the market, developers demonstrate the opposite because they, more often than not, they limit the scope of their project because it's better for them to do that. No, you're not banned, Daniel. So I want you to imagine a company has a budget of, $20 million to make their indie title. Okay, they've gotten funding for their indie title, $20 million. And you're banging on that ideology drum of exclusives are anti-consumer. But for them, the smartest decision to make, the most economical decision to make, is to build their game for one platform because that's how much they can do with $20 million. They can bring the product to market quicker, they can develop faster, maybe even enter into some kind of an exclusivity deal where they get some of the marketing shouldered by a larger company like PlayStation. And you're going to say, well, that's anti-consumer. Oh, okay, well, let's give you your way then. Let's give you the magic wand of power here and you can dictate what the company must do. How many platforms should they make their game for? They got $20 million. How many platforms? Nintendo Switch has 150 million. That's a lot of consumers to leave out. It's pretty anti-consumer to not build their game for Nintendo. The PlayStation 4 has like 100 million, still roughly 60 million monthly active users. There's 75 million PS5s. There's 30 million Series X's. There's how many? 130 to 140 million monthly active users on Steam. So to not be anti-consumer, you better make your game for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, the Series X and S, the Xbox One, if there's still people there, and Steam. They have $20 million. Your ideology is bankrupt. It's bankrupt. Developers do not want to get as many players as possible. They want to build a great game. And the path to get there does not start with, well, we don't want to be anti-consumer. We better put the game on every single platform so that every single consumer in the market can get our game. It's a bankrupt ideology. There's nothing true about it. It's an executive vision from Microsoft, and they're projecting that on the market, and they're projecting that on the developers, and people are just parroting what they're saying. Any developer in existence, they only have so much money, they only have so much time and bandwidth, and your ideology basically says, you better make that game for Switch, PS4, PS5, Series X, Series S, old gen Xbox, and Steam. Good luck. Good luck. Hyde, I don't know how much that is in my currency, but thank you for the super chat. As many players as possible is not the same thing as being available everywhere. If you stretch your resources too thin and quality suffers, no one will play your game, even though it is everywhere. Thank you. It's so much more nuanced than people make it. If you stretch your resources too thin, your budget too thin, you limit what the game can do. You're like, well, we got to get it to run on the Switch. We got to get it to run on the PlayStation 4. Well, the quality is going to suffer. And then you might get less players. You might get more players if you shoot a really solid sniper shot of quality on Steam or on PlayStation or on Nintendo. One platform, boom. Development pipeline, 4 to 5 years, bow. Let's talk about Death's Door. 2 guys made Death's Door. Week 1 on Steam, 100,000 in sales. Do you know what they did afterwards? They were able to fund ports to other platforms. Mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing, isn't it? They did something anti-consumer and somehow met more consumers. So weird. I missed your gift, Jack. I was on a bit of a tear. A 5-bomb from Jack Garland gets us to 330. I think Jack's trying to set up the 20-bomb to 350. We haven't had a 20-bomb yet today. We'll see if somebody takes the first one. Brooklyn, you're saying check my DMs when I get a second. What you got? Yes. Yes. I was already made aware of that. Thank you, Brooklyn. Space Marine 3 is beginning production. Very, very exciting. I agree that exclusives are not anti-consumer. I'm only saying there are things that I would consider. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, you've made an argument, Garrett, which is beyond an assertion, right? Assertion, raising the price of a subscription service like Game Pass is anti-consumer. So there's your assertion. And your argument wasn't compelling. Like, you're like, well, if it makes it hard on the consumer, it's anti-consumer, right? Thank you very much, Detective Seeds, for the DM. Yeah. Thank you for the VIP, Raphael McCoy. 10 months in a VIP bumps the line to 331. And thank you guys for the great turnout today, man. I greatly appreciate it. Keep smashing that like button. We could probably hit 400 likes right now if everybody makes sure to double check that you've hit like. So devs are anti-consumer when they skip a platform? That's right, 187. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it is a bankrupt ideology. It is a marketing, corporate level talking point from Xbox. It is. It is not a recommendation. It is not a recommendation. I'm sorry, not a recommendation. It is not a viewpoint of what developers actually think. It isn't. It isn't. If developers agreed with that sentiment, do you want to know what they wouldn't do? They wouldn't have done countless interviews over the years where they say building for one platform is better for them. With all due respect, Phil Spencer doesn't speak for all developers, and neither does the head of Xbox Game Studios, and anybody parroting their talking points. You don't speak for all developers. Developers can speak for themselves. Many of them have. And do you want to know what they've said? The opposite of that. The opposite of that. They have said that building for one platform helps them, and it helps the end product. You're saying something that isn't true. Their primary concern is not to get as many players as possible. You're creating an executive level, talking point to make it seem as like the market represents your vision for Xbox. The noob of games upgraded to member light? What the frick? How's that even possible? You can't upgrade to member light. Noob, did you try to do that? You'll get less content if you do that. Or is YouTube glitching out? Henry says, Sony charging for cloud saves is anti-consumer. I think it should be free. I think Microsoft don't charge for cloud saves or Steam or any of those other platforms. Okay, here's the thing, Henry. It's not anti-consumer because you can choose to go elsewhere. Go to a 5-star restaurant that charges for their world-class original recipe breadsticks and tell them, well, Fazoli's makes their breadsticks free. Your breadsticks should be free. That's anti-consumer. You're charging for something that those people over there are not charging. Do you want to know what they would say? Go eat at Fazoli's, then. Get the fuck out of here. That's what they would say to you. And they might even sound like that. They'd be like, get out of here. Well, go eat there then. That's what you're supposed to do. Consume where you feel you're getting the best deal and the best value. They tell you to take a walk. Well, they don't charge for it. You charge for it. That's anti-consumer. No, it's not. You can freely choose to go somewhere else. Take your business elsewhere. That's what you're supposed to do. Siriu with the $5 super chat says, I always wonder how Xbox Studio games would turn out if... Siriu, you triggered my... It did it again. I always wonder if Xbox Studio games would turn out if they only had to make Series X version and with no Series S PC day one. Noob of Games upgrades to Member Plus. There it is. You were trying to upgrade. There it is. That gets us to 333. Upgrades to Member Plus count as 2. Thank you very, very much. You can't pay for cloud saves? Yeah, I don't even understand what he's referring to. Like, what does he mean by pay for cloud saves? I'm not even sure what he's talking about. I'm just arguing against the notion that, like, you charge for it, they don't charge for it. That's anti-consumer. What the huh? You can't even put a USB stick to transfer the saves? Oh, okay. He's talking about game saves? Oh, you have to have PS Plus to do cloud saves. Okay. That's a lie. You can back up saves on a USB. Okay, people in chat are saying you can use the USB to move saves. They've done it. So that's not correct, Henry. You're incorrect in saying that. The correct thing would be to say you have to pay for PS Plus to do the cloud saves, but if you want to move things on a USB, you can do that. Yeah. To celebrate 20 years of God of War, we work with our development team to bring you 20 niche facts from the development team. Oh, I don't care about that. I purchased some games on discs on PlayStation and claimed some of them on PS Plus. My PlayStation seems to have trouble distinguishing between the two. I have the last Uncharted game on disc, and I cannot get the upgrade. Yeah, I'm not sure. You'd have to look for a tutorial on why that's not working. I can't help you with that. Regardless, it's totally within Sony's right to be a pain, and it's your right to not buy their product. Right. Okay, so think of it this way. Let's say that Sony came out and made a decision that I didn't agree with. Let's say they said, we're going to charge you a monthly service fee to maintain all of your licenses. You have to pay $5 a month, or we'll cancel these licenses. Okay. And I could say that's anti-consumer. Let's not do that, because that could get into a legal battle. That's a bad example. Let's say that they decided they were going to start charging $150 for their first party games. Thank you, Joker Quinn, for gifting a member. Okay, let's just say they decided to go crazy with the price point of their games. Okay. Anti-consumer is Lono ignoring us. I'm not ignoring you guys. What are you talking about? If they decided to do that, I only have two choices. No, I have three choices. I can buy. I cannot buy. I can wait for a sale. That's it. Buy, not buy, wait for a sale. Those are my choices as a consumer. To argue that them just deciding, no, all of our games are now $150. Okay. I don't, that's not anti-consumer. Now, it might be anti-profit because they end up driving consumers away and then they make less money. Anti-consumer is not shipping Reforge roast to the UK. You got me. Yes, I'm very anti-UK. No, I'm actually like anti-you wasting your money. It's so absurd, the price to ship there. Like, I don't think it's right to have you spending that kind of money to ship the you would give more to the post office. And I don't think that that's right. So Bradster is right. Why do you hate Brits? A $10 from Brandon says, an Xbox Series X runs the same as a PC. You could easily make a game run on both. You can use the Xbox as the low point. Now the S being so much weaker, it can screw you over. Do you ship to Sweden? No, we actually don't ship outside of like North America because the shipping just gets so dumb. Like, it's you having to spend $50 on shipping for a single bag of coffee. We had people doing it and it just felt wrong. I was like, the coffee's good. It ain't that good. Buy coffee locally, my friend. If you want to support me, there are far better ways to do it. You can the best way to support with money. The best way to support is to subscribe, hit like, and be here every day. That's the best way, and it's free to do that. The best way to support with money is not spending $50 in shipping to get a bag of coffee. It's gift members, and that helps grow the community. If you're like, hey, I want to monetarily support Reforge, gifting members, and then followed by paying for your own membership. Like, those are the two best ways. Like, you giving $50 to the post office to get a bag of coffee, that's just an absolute waste. That is wasteful. If you keep it good, I'm going to upgrade. I appreciate that. Whoever said that you can use a USB stick to transfer saves don't know your PS5 clearly. You can Google it. Okay. Can I move PS5 saves with the USB? You can back up PS5 games saves to a USB drive, but you can't directly transfer them to another console or use them to play games on another console. That doesn't make any sense. You can use a USB to back them up. You can then use the USB to restore your data on your PS5 console or to another console if you have a backup. Huh? Well, tell him it'll make him feel better. How much? $5 every time.
Oh my gosh.
You drive a hard bargain, little man.
It was $5. It was more. It was more. How much money? Cash?
He's got to take his medicine.
He said $100.
$100.
He's laughing. $200. It's going up every time you don't agree. $1,000? $1,000?
$1,000 to take your medicine. Buddy, it's going to make you feel better, man. You feel like crap. So take the medicine. If you take it every time you're supposed to take it, the stream will buy you a present. Uncle Mash. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'll...
Don't reach too high.
Reset super chat. Oh, we got super chat confetti. All right, sorry. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Well, she's getting to because of that, isn't she? Oh, you're hustling too.
Mama needs some different kind of love after all this.
Yeah. Oh, you want money too.
What about Mama?
Why does everybody want money from me?
Because money keeps the pockets warm.
A 22-month renewal from Odin. 22 months. Thank you very much. $5 from Fuzzy. He says for the medicine drive. $5 from Jack Garland. Tell him Jack says to take his medicine.
You got $10 so far. How much do you need to take it? He said only 500 will do it.
He says $500 will do it? You're shooting too high, buddy. Listen, if everybody does what they're supposed to do with their medicine, we will take a trip to the Lego store and...
Get an $100 Lego?
No. You will get
A mini pig.
$30 in the Lego store a piece. That's a set. That's a solid set. That's my offer.
But that's still not enough. What if they complain every time? Do I get, every time they complain, I get one of their dollars?
You got to do it. You got to check every box. I know you guys feel like crap, and I know the medicine tastes like crap. That's what that's what I'll do. For the medicine. Thank you, Daniel. You're getting super chat to take medicine, you little bum.
How much is it?
50 SEK. I don't know what that is in USD. It's probably $5.
$15. You want it? You want the money? He's lowered down from 500 to $80.
Are you raising grifters? They're ready. They're ready to be e-beggars. They're totally ready. They're like, I can sit in a chair and beg for money. We were researching something, and this little hustle job interrupted
USBs,
my work here.
RTs,
Listen,
QTRs. That's what you were reading.
okay, no. That's my offer. If everybody does what they're supposed to do, we'll take a trip to the Lego store. But this isn't an arm wrestling match with Mama every day. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? This is not a wrestling match. You hear me, boy? Said no.
What are you going to give me? After I do everything.
I will. Mom and I will have a wrestling match, and I will win.
No, Mom will.
Risick with the $20 says for the Lego set. Thank you. And Stonespire with the $5. You guys don't have to do that. Thank you very much. And you guys made confetti. You guys make confetti. If I get bad reports from Mama about this, the offer gets rescinded. Okay, so hang on. Back to this USB. Hang on. And I owe you guys. I reset the super chat goal. I owe you guys some members. Go and take the medicine. Thank you so much, Drew SSJ Havoc. You guys don't have to do that. I will. I'll take them to the Lego store. They're having a. It's a rough patch, man. It's a rough patch. One of them's got strap. One of them had 3 teeth pulled. Like, it's rough, man. It's dark. It's dark days in the house. Anyways, could we get 20 more likes on the video? That would be really helpful as well. We got to hit that 400 like milestone. We've had a great day. We made some changes. It seems to have really, really helped. I had some ideas and some paranoia about what YouTube was doing with our reach was getting pretty limited, and today we've really seemingly bounced back once again. So thank you everybody who's been a part of today. I know a lot of you came here for GTA 6. We're not talking about GTA 6 that much, but I can give you my theory about when the marketing is going to ramp up and why I think their recent behavior has signaled that that the game is not delayed. So right now, I owe you guys two members. One was going to wrestle mom, and they're going to get another sibling. That's right. Let the kids have all the super chat money from today. Oh, they would love that. They would love that. They would be thrilled. Yeah. They're struggling with that. That's, they get a little materialistic about it. Oh, we have a live stream link to it. Okay, hang on. According to someone who actually works for SIE, you can use a USB storage device to back up saved data from your PlayStation 5 console. Okay. Here's my question. All right. How does that work with a new PlayStation? All right, here we go. How to back up and restore PS5 data. All right. Connect it. Go to settings, system, backup and restore. Back up your PS5. Okay. There's your save data. Select backup. When it's complete, it'll restart. Okay, how to restore. You connect. You go to settings, system, software, backup and restore. Restore your PS5. There you go. What's on the docket for tomorrow? I don't know. I haven't looked at the news cycle yet. That's it. That's how you do it. I don't know why, Henry. I think you're saying things that aren't accurate. We've got the information right here, official from Sony, that you can do it. Microsoft should not be allowed to run any more IP or studios into the ground. Yeah, one of the news stories is that they apparently have. This hasn't been divulged to shareholders, which is a problem. But they are apparently, Ubisoft is trying to sell IP, and some of those that have wanted to buy have been EA and Microsoft and others. And I'm on record as saying I don't want Microsoft to own anything else. I think until we start to see better results from their studios or a walk back of the 18-month contract, I don't think what they do to studios is good. I don't want them to own any more, and I don't want them to own any more IP either. The worry would be somebody would buy the IP so that nobody else could have it, and they would sit on it, right? Like Assassin's Creed would just get scooped up by, Amazon, Tencent, Embracer, EA, somebody, and they just sit on it, right? Or they'd hand it to a studio that has no business touching it, just so they could throw it out there and get a game in the market. If you just want to get the game saves on a USB, you cannot do that anymore. It was to stop people from modifying their game saves. Oh, so like I used to do that on my Xbox. I would move save files on a hard drive. I did that on my 360, I think. I forget what we were doing. We were doing something with Borderlands, and I wanted to move my saves, and I can't remember why I did it. That's not true. It looks like from what you guys have shown me, you can back up your saves. It doesn't look like you can like go in and like individually move a save to a hard drive and like walk over to another PlayStation and like download your save. This is a restore and backup decision. That's a very, very different thing than, oh, I'm going to my Borderlands 4 save file and copying it to my hard drive, and then I'm going to strut over here and I'm going to put it on this PlayStation. If you want to get the game saves on a USB, you cannot do that anymore. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Sorry. Helldivers 2, the board game, has been approved by the Ministry of Defense to prepare you for active service. Go for the full briefing at GameFound. Can you get me a link to the full briefing? Backup and restore is completely different. You have 2 PS5 consoles. You could test it right now. The question would be, Paul, do I want to test it? And the answer, it may surprise you. Individual saves are not supported anymore for PS5 games. However, PS4 games still support that on the PS5. Excuse me. Yeah, I was just told you can't do it for individual saves anymore. You can't. Official from somebody who knows. There's no briefing on the game at all. There's no information. Helldivers 2, the board game. They don't have anything other than the picture. I thought I was going to get some intel here. Excuse you. Bless you. Thank you. It's the same as when moving stuff to a new console. You can choose save data, game save, or both. And yes, you cannot choose single save files. Okay. I tried this save test, but somehow both PlayStations caught fire. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We need to be on pace. And we need to let you guys vote for the member stream on Friday night. We were going to have Madam watch me play Death Stranding, or the two of us play Returnal. I think we're going to walk away from doing a whole playthrough of Split Fiction because I think it's just going to be too much Split Fiction. I beat it with her. I rolled credits. I'm playing through it with Hilly on Fridays, and I'm playing through it with my son on Saturdays. And I don't think Friday nights, I don't think it would be that fun for her and I to play through the game again. I think it's just going to be way too much Split Fiction and too close together. So I thought it would be fun to like maybe even make that like the stretch goal, because like her watching me play Death Stranding and commentating would probably be hilarious. And if that's what you guys want, we got to hit the goal. To be on pace, we need to end today at 400. And if you guys want to extend the stream, I will let you do that. But I'm not going to give you a lot of time. I've been needing more time in the afternoons to make videos and to plan my streams. And today was a late start. So we're way back against the deadline right now. We're like, it's like 1:20 in the afternoon. So seems like a good local co-op. I might pull it. Oh, Split Fiction's one of the best local co-op games I've ever played. Yeah. Yeah. That's why cloud save should be free. You see what I mean? Well, I don't agree with you. I think your position, I get what you're saying. I guess my question is, what's the pain point that this is creating for you? What's the problem? What's this dilemma that you have that you're like, well, I can't move my saves on a hard drive, so cloud save should be free. Oh, okay, but why? What are you trying to do? What's the issue? I just don't understand. What's the hang up? If cloud save should be free, you should give me money for no reason. Yeah, like why should they house your saves on a hard drive somewhere for no money? Like I've got cloud backups of my stuff on my phone and it costs money. A $20 super chat from Charles Freeman. He says 10 for Minion, 10 for Stinks. Thank you very much, Charles. That is very generous. You've been very kind over the years. You bought me that rabbit hole Derringer bourbon. I that's like, it tempts me every time I'm at the store. It really does. And I always think of you. Charles. I'm like, man, that stuff is, you guys, if you're bourbon drinkers, man, Rabbit Hole Derringer is, it's some of the best bourbon I've ever had. If Steam and Xbox can do it, why can't Sony? They don't have to. One company doing something for free doesn't mean there's an impetus for another company. Okay, I'll ask you one. When I buy a game one time on PlayStation and it's co-op, I only have to buy it once. Madam can play on her PlayStation, I can play on mine. Returnal's a great example. It's co-op. I buy the game once, Madam plays on hers, I play on mine. Why doesn't Steam do that with family sharing? Why can't we both play the same game at the same time? That's anti-consumer. Do you see how that works? Like, I'm trying to claim that, like, well, the way PlayStation handles sharing a game is how Steam should handle it. Steam should do it the exact same way. Do you see how that works? Like, that doesn't work. It's like, I can't claim that Steam's being anti-consumer because they don't exactly mirror what PlayStation does. Steam should do that too. You can't create imperatives out of preference. That's so philosophically backwards. You have to see that. You cannot create imperatives from preference. 41 months from Charles Freeman. I'm a huge Death Stranding fan. If you play Friday, I got you for another bottle. Oh. That was genuine. That was genuine, Charles. Thank you. Super Googly says, I just got my 9950 X3D to pair with my RTX 5090. If I can get a Switch 2 at launch date to continue to roast on Nintendo, I'm happy for my tech purchases of 2025. I'm happy that you hating Nintendo makes you happy, even though it's weird. It's weird. You know I love you, Googly. That seals the deal. Well, come on then. Come on. All right, here we go. Hang on. We need a Death Stranding PNG. All right, hang on. Is this one? I got one. Save image as. Don't you dare be a WEB whatever. All right, here we go. All right, hang on. I'm going to get him down here in the corner. There you go. There's your incentive for Friday night. So, we're going to need we need the big boys, says Broken Surprise. That's right. We got to get a move on then. Come on, Nintendo ain't that bad. No, it's a little playful at this point. I think he's got issues with Nintendo, but I think at this point he just gets a little bit more playful with it. Don't you love it when you scan or open up a crucial item and then you forget to actually pick it up? Old man yelling about image formats. Where's Uncle Mash? I don't know. You guys can't always rely on Mash. You know what I'm saying? The single trains and 5-bomb trains go a long way. You can't always be calling on these guys to drop the 10, the 20, and the 50 bombs, right? See, Jaggy Snake's got the right idea, and he bumps the line at 338. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You guys are always wanting to rely on Uncle Mash. Yeah, that's not how we're supposed to do this. A bunch you could upgrade right now for $1, and it's 2. It's 2 every time you upgrade. You know? Go to your phone, go to my page, go over to memberships and see if that upgrades button is there. You know what I mean? You guys can double dip. It's easy. You get gifted, then you upgrade for $1. And there's another one from Jaggy, and there's there's a renewal from Justin, and that gets us to 340. We're now a 10 bomb away from me owing you guys some more members. Thank you so much. And Joker Quinn gifts one. Joker Quinn is so faithful with that, man. This guy is the single gifting king. He took DK Bager's crown. He took Stone Spire's crown, man. Joker Quinn is always in here with the single gifters. And Brett drops one. You see, you guys are always trying to call in Mr. Mash to save you. We don't need Mash. You guys are great on your own, man. Milk Dud with the plus and hits the 343. There it is. Thank you so much. Those renewals help. Those upgrades help. You know what I mean? Hey, somebody ordered some coffee. Thank you so much. J29, NENJ, ordered a bag of dark roast. And Raphael McCoy adds to the member train that we're working on right now and gets us to 344. Milk Dud says, this is for you, Uncle Mash. I can't change emotes. Oh, you guys want that chair as an emote? Oh, the angry chair is an emote. I like it, but you're going to have to Somebody artify that up. It needs to be a square. It would probably need to be... Hang on. I don't know if it's a square. Yeah, that's not a square. It won't work. And Xanatos gifts a member. And we're now a 5-bomb away from 350. We'll see if anybody's going to do the tag team dunk. A lot of singles rolling in, and that's great. And a 5-bomb from Jaddix does it, and Catwalk's going to be Agent of Chaos and pushes past 350. You see? Look at that. 351. Many hands make light work. You guys are great. I owe you some members as well. You want a salt farming emote? No. We're like I said, we're going gray rock on these people. We're not even worried or concerned with it. We just aren't. It's not even in the rear view or the side view. It just isn't even there. You know? There's no reason to be concerned about it. This is fantastic. Yeah, the angry chair, it is pretty good, but I do feel like that needs to be shoveled through some AI to cartoonify it up, make it look like almost like cartoony comic booky. You know what I mean? So for the free cloud saves, Microsoft probably gets the money for their cloud infrastructure elsewhere. As for Steam, I think they run their own servers, so they probably subsidize that from the emotes and junk that they sell on the side. I've gone gray rock with the whole of Twitter. I'm out. I just watched a couple of great videos this morning about it, and it really just gave me a lot of clarity on what people are doing and what I should do in response. Yeah. Andrew Mandrew with 22 months. Going to play Split Fiction with my wife this weekend. Getting excited hearing all the great reviews. I hope you have a blast, Andrew. I will say this. If you have not played It Takes Two yet, I would really encourage you to play it first. I don't think you're going to be able to go in the opposite direction. Like, you're going to get a taste for that game type, and then you're going to want to go play It Takes Two. And I feel like Split Fiction is quite a bit better in not that it's a better game, but in that, like, they've evolved and really elevated the experience quite a bit. A $5 super chat tip from Jianskis or Jianskis. Going to ask the missus for the game this year. I'm on hold with impulsive split decision or fiction. Huh? So I'm going to ask the missus for the game this year. I'm on hold with impulsive split decision or fiction. I'm not understanding. Is that a joke? Lego confirms that all their video games will be made in-house moving forward. Yeah, I saw that. Those games are absolute garbage. Any co-op game better? I mean, I think commercial and critical success pretty much refutes your claim. You don't have to enjoy the games, but like, if you like co-op games and you haven't played Brothers, A Way Out, It Takes Two, or Split Fiction, I would find it weird. I wouldn't be able to trust your judgment on a co-op game. It sounds like you don't like co-op games. You don't sound qualified to speak to the quality of a co-op game. Word of warning. If you start gray rocking crazy people, they'll escalate. Well, Zubair, I talked about that this morning in Morning Coffee. I think we went halfway. We did it long enough that it went from a couple of things every day to like a monsoon, which I think proves that it was working. But then I think we stopped and we kind of ruined the effort. So yeah, I see evidence from, they said that in the videos. They said that would happen. And I was like, oh, well, that definitely happened, which means it was being effective. But then I kind of half measured it, you know? I got into the reasons why I half measured it. It was like people with legitimate status in the industry started legitimizing the treatment of me, which made me speak on it. I wasn't speaking on it because it bothers me, right? I was speaking on the fact that this should not be legitimized. So it was different, but it still let the guard down. So What do you think about Death Stranding so far? I think it's got me. I think it got me last night. It did. It did. That's the 1-to-1 ratio. All right, hang on. All right, save image as. It's a PNG. All right, let me try this. I'm going to update the chair emoji. All right, I'm going to give you guys about 15 minutes. If you guys get us to 400 members, we will keep going. All right? I'm going to give you guys 15 minutes. You're going to need to dig deep. You're either going to need to go on another member train, or you're going to have to get one of the big boys or some of the big boys in here to start dropping the bombs, and we can extend, and then we'll be on pace. We'll be doing Death Stranding tomorrow night, and Madam will commentate. I will probably... Yeah, it's not going to translate to the... It's not. It's not going to translate. The current chair emoji, like, it looks good and you can see what it's supposed to be. And the new one, it doesn't translate to that size. Like I said, you're going to have somebody turn it into a cartoon. So, we need a remaster of that game of the two prisoners with Lono and Hilly. I thought it looked pretty good. I don't know if we need a remaster of that. I knew Death Stranding would get you. Detective Seeds, let me tell you, this is what happened. So, I described it as the fog lifting. There is this moment in a game like that where there's the UI, there's the systems, there's sort of the fog of confusion. You don't really quite understand everything, right? You're wanting to do this and that, and you got to hit X a lot, right? The menus can be a teeny bit tedious, and it's sort of this fog, and it's in front of the game. You're constantly reminded that you're playing a video game. And what I described it as was, last night, the fog lifted, and it clicked. I was like, I get it. I get the flow. I get the mechanics. I get the point. And I'm halfway. Like, I came all the way back to a spot, and I'm halfway to the next spot that I'm supposed to go. And I went to the firing range, and I learned how to, throw grenades at BTs. I learned how to parry with my rope. And so I finished that, and then you use the bathroom and the shower, and they make the grenades. And I came back up, and I'm all suited up, and I'm ready to go. And I restructured things a couple of times on my back. And I'm not kidding you. I literally said to myself, I was like, damn it. I was like, I'm in. I'm more than 2 hours in. I am more than 2 hours in. But I think it's different because the first 4 hours I played on stream, which is distracting, and chat's trying to help, and chat's trying to give me tips. This is 2 hours on my own, and it did. Like, it took 2 hours kind of on my own, and it clicked. And I was like, frick. You can parry with the rope. Go to the gun range and do the drills. That would be my advice to you. Go to the firing range when you go to the little station and you can go to the firing range or your private room. Go to the firing range and run the drills. Yeah. I got hung up on making deliveries, so I got nowhere in the story. If you ever get into that flow state, it's a total vibe. The fog just lifted. It was like, I understand now. I understand all the little microcosmic, little tiny little systems that he has baked into it, and the menus, and it's like, and all of a sudden, that lifts, and I see the game for what it is, and I'm like, I want to play this. Because there's a time in that game where you're like, I don't know what any of this means. I don't know what any of the mechanics mean. I don't know how they connect to each other. You just have to trust Kojima for 6 hours. Just trust he knows what he's doing. It is an unusual, for me especially, you guys know what I say. I'm like, if a game doesn't hook you in the first hour, what are you doing? Well, don't waste your time. This is probably one of those times where that's not true. Death Stranding's not a game I would play on stream. It's very story focused. And if you are not dialed into it and not paying attention, it's easy to get lost. There's no way to just throw somebody into that game. It's extremely long onboarding. Yeah. Yeah. All right, you guys have 7 minutes. 7 minutes. We're going to see if we're going to do a buzzer beater. We have not extended yet this week. There's some weeks where we extend every single day. You guys have 7 minutes to extend. And you need 49 members to extend. Make sure you don't have membership renewals to celebrate. That can really, really help. It can really, really minimize how much you guys have to gift to get it going. They really want to send me a Eufy robot vacuum. I would have to do a dedicated video though. I can't do that. A YouTube short. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to put that. I like integration into the live. There it is. English O with a VIP. You're going nowhere, streamer man. And Behemoth comes in with the 5 bomb and says, it's time to scramble, boys. And that gets us to 357. And a 10 bomb from Risick gets us to 67, 367, just like that. You guys are going for the buzzer beater. I respect it. We have a Eufy. It's great. I just would prefer, you know what I should probably just start doing? Is just reply and say, can I just integrate and talk about it in the live? I don't want to do a dedicated video. That's not what my channel does. And a 20 bomb from Pathalon Phoenix. Oh boy, what a generous member of the community. This man has gone crazy lately. Pathalon Phoenix just flexing on the chat lately. You love to see it. Just eat it like you stole it, make a mess, then grab the vacuum and clean it up. Their base models are so much smarter than the others. Thank you again, a huge thank you to Pathalon Phoenix, Risick, and Behemoth. You know, you guys have gone huge lately for the channel. It really does mean a lot when there's more of a mixture. You know, there's more of a mixture of folks gifting to the channel. And a 5 bomb from Angry Pete. There it is. Oh boy, you guys are going to nail it. There it is, 92. You're well on. You need 8 more. You did it just like that. I mean, we are right on the doorstep. That's an easy one. You guys took no time at all. I thought it was going to be like a, maybe not situation. Midnight Murder Club is now available on Steam and PS5. It's got a 4.51 on PlayStation. It's PS5 Pro Enhanced. There's a VIP renewal from Angry Pete. That counts towards the total, and that gets us to 393. Thank you so much. What's the point of this game? I feel like I don't remember this. What do you do in this game? You play together, and Jaggy Snake gifts a member, and it bumps the count to 394. And another one comes in from Joker Quinn and gets us to 395. And a 5 bomb from Risick secures it. Look at the teamwork. Look at the teamwork. And then Stone Spire with the Agents of Chaos to 401. Well, there it is. You extended. Dadgummit. There it is. So is Midnight Murder Club is it like Among Us? One online play. It supports up to 6 players. Okay. Join the club and die trying. It's a heart-pounding and hilarious multiplayer first-person shooter. Survive the night in a deadly mansion filled with traps, weapons, and other surprises. Armed with only a flashlight and a revolver, move as stealthily as possible through a pitch-black mansion, seeking out your opponents and dispatching them cleverly and silently as you can manage. The only way to see ahead is to switch on your flashlight, but doing so could give away your position. Think carefully, deploy special items, and do your best. Oh, so we would be playing against each other. Pathalon says, I'm bored at work, so I got to extend it. I appreciate it, dude. I really, really do. I really do. It's fun to put the stream in y'all's hands like that. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you guys, it's up to you now. You know what I mean? How do they avoid campers? Because more than likely you've got to move. Like, I don't think you can just stay put. Like, the goal of the game is not just like stay put and survive. I think you're supposed to like get from one point to the other. That would be my assumption. Right? Now, that kind of a game wouldn't work for us on community game night because you guys could always see where I am, you know? Guys, and Member Plus and above continues to move. It continues to move. We are at 605, so continue considering upgrading if you got it gifted. Upgrading is really easy now on mobile. There's another Member Plus person. Bumps the line to 402. Thank you, Square Pusher, for renewing that Member Plus. I already read that. Sorry. Okay, let's go through the questions. You guys have been submitting questions. Nightbot is back on the menu, and today is the 13th, so we're going to start with Francisco. Francisco, what is the logical explanation for PlayStation doing remasters like Horizon and Days Gone, old versions can be played on PS4, PS5, and not making infamous God of War OG MotorStream? This is a great question, okay? This is a really good question. I hope you're still here, Francisco, because I think you asked this like a long time ago. And this is a great feature of being a member, right? It's a great feature. A $5 super chat from DualSense Edge. From True SSJ Havoc says, I just got my DualSense Edge. I'm good now. Got tired of my stick drift. Well, thank you so much. We're one super chat away from Confetto. Okay, so here's the thing. Why do a remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn and Days Gone instead of making, infamous OG God of War, blah, blah, blah. Okay. From where I sit, I think what they're doing is they're targeting roughly right now, according to their own data and the estimates of their data against total sales of the console, there's about 20 million people on the PlayStation 5 that did not have a PlayStation 4. Okay? So somewhere between 20 and 25 million. They didn't have a PlayStation 4. They're new to PS5. And what PlayStation's trying to do is take the quickest route they can to having that person build a library of PS5 quality games. And they're taking the games that they feel like are the best at doing that. Horizon is incredibly popular. Days Gone aged like wine. It got better with time. People liked it once they fixed a lot of the bugs and the problems. So what they're saying is they're like, it's newer, so it's cheaper. Like, the road to remastering it is probably shorter and cheaper. That makes ROI better. And then it comes to the market faster, so your 20 to 25 million people that are new to PlayStation 5 are like, I've got all these great games to buy. You can build your library so much faster. So imagine right now you're new to PS5. You're brand new to PlayStation. You're one of those 20 million people. You can buy staple titles that you've heard of. Last of Us Part 1 Remake. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. What are some of the others that they've done? Director's Cut of Ghost of Tsushima. Director's Cut of Death Stranding. That's 5 games to add to your library that wouldn't be there if they did this. Well, let's only focus on the hardcore fans that have all these games already. The hardcore fans have already played these games. They already own these games. They don't want this. They want new. Okay, well, that's 20 to 25 million people that have the option to choose from these 5. Let's add Days Gone to it. That's 6. I'm trying to think of some others that have been like the Silent Hill 2 game. To me, that's what they seem to be setting their sights on. I think people keep forgetting, like, to constantly argue that, like, oh, the console market is stagnant, the console market's dying. PlayStation's acting as if that's not true. They're getting new users. They're going into markets where console is weak, and they're finding ways to get new users, like the China Hero Project. And then they are responding to their success with new users by making remasters. Don't you find it like a tiny bit ironic that all the people who are like negative against PlayStation and talk about how, oh, all they do is remasters and remakes, these are the same people that parrot Microsoft's talking points about the console market is shrinking, the console market isn't growing? Oh, okay. It seems like you're saying things that are like sort of very complimentary to each other. Yeah, Yeah, if that's your outlook, then it wouldn't make any sense to do remasters. It wouldn't make any sense to take your games like that and remaster them. But it makes sense if you're actually getting new users into your ecosystem. People forgot that during the PS3 era, Sony remastered Killzone 1, Shadow of the Colossus, and various other PS2 games. That's exactly right. Some of it is just good for brand awareness. You're just constantly taking your best property and you're giving it a shot in the arm so that people talk about it again. A substantial portion of the assets are right there in the sequels. Another excellent point. They remastered Spider-Man 1 as well, didn't they? Didn't they do that for console when they brought it to PC? So I don't know. To me, it's clear. If you don't like that they're doing it, I mean, I understand being like, man, where are the new games? Or, man, why don't you do these games? It's like, you have to understand that it's kind of like when they do a showcase or a state of play, and they have like these cutesy pie, anime, waifu, or cuddly, or snuggly, or cozy games. Those aren't there for you. They're making sure that the broad spectrum of the gaming market thinks of PlayStation as, oh, they have the games that I like. They do the things that I like. Can you name your top 5 games that revolutionized the game industry for their time, genre, gameplay, and added a new way to do things? I would say OG Zelda, Mario 64 paired with Ocarina of Time, Halo 1. You left out GoldenEye. You left out Uncharted. I feel like Uncharted really changed the way people think about like a cinematically driven game. It basically took like the idea of like Tomb Raider and gave it a more, cinematic character narrative driven thrust. Yeah, I think it's harder now to impact the market. I think Returnal was incredibly ambitious and brave, and I'm really excited for Sorrows. I don't know if you would say that they revolutionized the industry or a genre or gameplay. I don't know if you could say that. Yeah, you left out GTA. Final Fantasy VII for PlayStation. Yeah. Elden Ring. I would say Elden Ring evolved open world design to the greatest degree we've seen since like Breath of the Wild, and prior to that maybe Skyrim. Yeah, I would include Skyrim. And then people would be like, well, no, not Skyrim, Oblivion. I think Skyrim was more mainstream, so it probably counts more in my mind for some reason. So I think like open world game design, Skyrim is like probably one of the granddaddies. Obviously, yes, Skyrim has, Oblivion behind it. Oblivion and Morrowind behind it. But like Skyrim, and then I think Breath of the Wild really showed how insane and dense you can make an open world. And I think Elden Ring went even further with exploratory purpose and density to a degree we've not yet seen before. You'd probably want to throw Metal Gear in there with Kojima. You'd probably want to throw No Man's Sky. I think No Man's Sky has had an enormous impact on the gaming industry with the respect to procedural generation, as well as modeling how to have a comeback story. So yeah, I would put No Man's Sky on a list somewhere. Lono has taken density to a degree we've never seen before too. It's admirable. What? World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch. Yeah, Blizzard has a lot of very influential games. I think that's true. Yeah. World of Warcraft and Diablo. StarCraft was pretty influential in RTS, and StarCraft has led to all these other modded versions of their game that are now like mainstays, right? Some of the biggest games in the world right now wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for StarCraft. Doom. You got to put Doom in there somewhere, because Doom essentially spawned an entire generation and genre of games. Doom's got to be in there, because you don't get Quake without Doom. You don't get Unreal Tournament without Doom. You don't get any of the modern shooters. The very first Call of Duty should probably be in there. Half-Life 1 should definitely be in there, yes. Yeah, Demon Souls. Doom and Wolfenstein. Yeah, Wolfenstein leads to Doom. Doom leads to Quake for sure. I'll be sure to not resub next month and see myself out. You just said that they took Skyrim to a level of density we'd never seen. It was a limped attempt at a joke. But how am I at a level of density that... I don't understand. Oh, you're saying I'm dense? Oh, were you trying to insult me? Oh, okay. There's some irony there, right? I was too dense to understand the joke about me being dense. Wah, wah. Doom and Quake are in the same universe? No, they're not in the same universe, but one led to the other. Like, I think Doom and Doom PvP and the design of Doom heavily influenced Quake. Like, you wouldn't, there would be, I don't know if you would have a Quake without a Doom. Like, I feel like Doom led to Quake. Like, I think that was an evolution of their idea. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same company. So there's, obviously you're dealing with an evolution of an idea within the same company. Like, that's all, it's all id Software. Listen, Call of Duty was using the Quake engine for how long until recently? That all stems back, I believe it was the Quake 3 engine, was it not? I believe it was the Quake 3 engine. I believe Call of Duty was on the Quake 3 engine for, a pretty good amount of time. I knew that Wolfenstein and Doom are in the same universe. No. Wait. Is it? I don't think I ever knew that. Is that true? Wolfenstein with BJ Blazkowicz is in the same universe as Doom Guy? Like, oh, there's been theories? Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard those theories. I assume they were all different timelines, different games, different universes. Okay, let me go to another question. Perfect image. Blocking in regions, is that a country law or is it up to Sony and Xbox? Some of the region blocking that happens on Steam with PlayStation is like a legal thing for sure. Like, not like a law thing, but like there are just companies that are countries that like have some kind of a weird thing going on with their, like, Sony can't sell there or something. I don't know. It's different for every region, so I don't have a great answer for you. But I don't think it's as simple as like Sony doesn't like the country, right? It has something to do with being able to make a PSN or something like that. I'm trying something. At the very tail end here, what if we decide to tweet about the stream? We've been taking to not tweeting about the stream. Just because I think sometimes, I don't know. We noticed one day when we didn't do that, we felt like we got better results on the broadcast, and I'm not really sure why. So I'm going to tweet at the tail end, see if we can't give the stream a shot in the arm, get more people in here since we are extending and doing like a members-only Q&A. It was supposedly kicked around behind the scenes but never made official. Okay. Wolf, Doom, and Commander Keen, actually. There are theories that they're all interconnected. John Romero and Tom Hall have hinted for decades that the two series are related, the game's central protagonist, with Doom Guy being hinted as a descendant of BJ Blazkowicz. I thought it was Blazkowicz with a C at the end. Blazkowicz. Put it in Discord. Oh. So they've got. Is this them talking about it? Unknown third source. Enemy from extra dimensional micro portals not confirmed. Oh. So that's in one of the. What is that? Is that Wolfenstein or Return to Castle Wolfenstein? There's a file in here. The Uber testing protocol, right? Unknown third source. Energy from an extra dimensional micro portal not confirmed. So is that in Wolfenstein? That sounds like a pretty heavy hint about the portals in Doom and what they opened. All right, let me take the next question. Perfect Image says, why PlayStation doesn't bring out more FBI, CIA down to earth instead of the first party titles? I have zero clue what you're trying to communicate here. Petrov says, what do you think about the Microsoft handheld in 2025? I mean, it's going to be an Asus handheld with an Xbox logo on it, so I really don't know what the demand for it is going to look like. Like I said, if it sells over 1 million units, I'll be kind of surprised. I just don't know. It just doesn't seem like I don't even know if they care about that. I don't think Microsoft is like, yeah, man, we better sell, a bunch. We better sell 2 million. I don't even think that's the goal. I continue to feel like the goal is just to have a cascade of access points. I think they want a cascade of access points. They're trying to have basically anywhere you could possibly connect with them. They want it to be in the market somewhere. Right? This guy says, cry about it more, toxic YouTuber. I'm like, imagine being toxic while claiming I am toxic. And clearly not watching a video where I praise the game is fun. Man, the Monhun Defense Force boys, whoo-wee, they are not happy with my video. Well, I should say they're not happy with my thumbnail. They're not watching the video where I praise the game for being fun and talk about how it's really unfortunate that a really good game is sort of shrouded behind, issues of performance optimization and image quality. We have a lot of first party in similar genres, but you don't have anything in difference besides of the title they have. Perfect Image, we're once again really struggling to communicate here. I don't know what you're talking about. First party have similar genres, but they don't have anything indifferent besides of the title they have. I don't know what you mean. Like, if you're saying their games are all too similar, I don't agree with that. I've kind of roasted that up before. I've talked about how when I played Ratchet and Clank, it was an awful lot like Returnal. And then when I played Returnal, it was an awful lot like Horizon Forbidden West. And then when I played Horizon Forbidden West, it was an awful lot like God of War Ragnarok. And then when I got done with that, it was an awful lot like The Last of Us Part 2. And then that was an awful lot like Spider-Man 2. And then that was an awful lot like Ghost of Tsushima. And then that was an awful lot like Death Stranding. Like, I don't know what you mean. Their games are so different. If you stop looking at really bad faith picture comparisons on Twitter and you actually play the games, you will not play them and think that they're all the same genre or the same game. Are we recycling the whole camera angles are the same genre again? Yeah, if you told me that you played Ratchet, Returnal, Horizon, God of War, Spider-Man 2, Astrobot, Helldivers 2, and even their second and third party exclusives like Stellar Blade, Ronin, FF16, and you said, yeah, they're all basically the same genre, I would essentially come to the conclusion that I wouldn't be able to trust your judgment on games. I'm like, they're nothing alike. Their similarities are so superficial and so surface level. That's like an inch deep of analysis to be like, oh yeah, they're basically all the same. What? There's no FBI or CIA down to earth. So you mean like grounded in reality game. Tsushima's grounded in reality. It's historical fiction. So there's an example of one that I think is grounded in reality. You want grounded in modern day reality? Like a Splinter Cell? I mean, I'm not going to feel like that. I don't have a response to that. I feel like you have like a very specific ask, and because they're not doing that, you're summarizing all the games as being too similar. I don't agree with that. I don't. I look at Yote, Death Stranding 2, Lost Soul Aside, Soros, Intergalactic. I'm like, wow, these games all look great. I'm not like, oh, I wish I could play as a police officer or an FBI agent or a spy in a modern day setting. Like, the lack of them having games grounded in that reality doesn't make all their games the same. I think that's such a false conclusion. Oh, because they don't have a game, grounded in modern setting where I could play a spy or a FBI agent or something, or a soldier, in the army. Then all their games are the same. Kratos aside, I'm sick of characters that can't jump or dash. You played Rise of the Ronin. That would be another historical piece. That's grounded in reality, but it's right. There's no magic. There's no fantasy. That's grounded in reality. Let me take another question here from Spider Senseless. What game or tactic will PlayStation use to bring people over next-gen PS6? Best shot they do Spider-Man 3, or will they push PSSR hardware to get more people to switch like pro enhancements? So, I don't know if there's going to be a strong desire to get people to switch to the PS6. I think their hope is to get as many new people right now as they can, so when the PlayStation 6 comes out, it's just a natural trajectory for all those people. Let me give you an example. So, there's a lot of problems, I think, with argumentation about games these days, and one of them is, well, because the consoles aren't growing, PC's the future. I find that argumentation to be very lacking and not very compelling. And the reason for that is, the Nintendo Switch sold 150 million. If the Nintendo Switch 2 sells 140 to 160 million, if they're in the same hemisphere, they will celebrate that as a win. That's them staying in the market and continuing to sell to a willing consumer base. That's a win. If every year you make your video game, every year you make your football game or your basketball game, and you roughly have the same number of sales, people are probably happy with that. The company gets funded, they're able to invest in the next, game sequel or whatever. I think PlayStation and these platforms are likely going to take a similar line of thinking, where if the China Hero Project and the India Hero Project and the MENA Hero Project and their efforts on PC continues to lead to a trickle of new people coming in. That is happening. They're getting new users. It's undeniable. That's a fact. People can bristle at that fact or try to act like, well, no, none of those people are coming from PC. I don't really care about that. That's just somebody's belief. The facts are the facts. PlayStation's getting new users. They will likely get more new users for the rest of this gen. Having said that, they will get to a point where they're like, we're not going to have more than, like recently they hit an MAU of 129 million, okay? Let's say over the course of this gen, and as they head towards PS6, let's say they get to 150 million MAUs. Like they've increased their footprint, their presence. GTA 6 helps them with adoption rates of the PS5, and they're able to grow the MAUs. I would imagine there's a threshold where they're just happy if those people keep coming back and keep playing and spending money. Whether those people keep coming back and buying and spending money on the PS5, the Pro, or the PS6, and then over the course of the PS6 life, same thing, right? You want those people to slowly come over to PS6. I do. I think these companies get to a point where they're probably perfectly happy with that. It's a very sort of self-report that you have a very Western ideology about success when you think that success is eternal growth. Right? Endless growth is a Western business ideal. It's not a true thing. You can't have that. There are too many. I think there's just too many economic, and even I think just there are too many realities about our existence that keep that from being possible. You can't have eternal growth. You can't. So it's an ideology that I don't think is founded in. It's not founded in truth. It's not founded in reality. It's founded in the goals of shareholders and C-suite employees. We can get more. We can get more. Infinite growth. Infinite growth. But no. You get to a set number of customers and you keep selling to those customers and you keep the business going and you're profitable, and I think that's perfectly fine in a lot of places. There's plenty of businesses that do that. It's a weak point within a capitalistic view. I don't think any view is wholly good or wholly bad, right? There's good parts and there's bad parts. That's a weak point within especially Western capitalism, the idea that there's just infinite growth. No, there's not. I think that has been a fundamental failure and weak point within Xbox. They are a Western company and they think infinite growth, get more people, and it has been their undoing. It's been their undoing. With the Xbox One, they said, we need more users, go out there and get non-gamers. So they target non-gamers. TV, right? Let's go get the non-gamers. That's led to their undoing. Their philosophy hurt them. And then look at this gen. Now everything is an Xbox? My tablet, my TV, a Fire Stick is an Xbox? Well, what does that even mean? Who are you appealing to with that? I don't think you're appealing to gamers, and you're certainly not appealing to non-gamers. But it's driven by a Western business philosophy of infinite growth. Go get more users. We need the MAU to increase. We need the MAU to increase. Don't you see why it's so sinister for people to be parroting the marketing talking points of Microsoft about how exclusives are anti-consumer and exclusives are better for the consumer, and speaking for all developers and saying developers, their primary concern is getting as many players as possible? That, my friend, is nothing more than this subversive infection of Western business philosophy of infinite growth, just working its way out through, come up with flashy ways to say it and speak it into the ether, and then guess what? All your little astroturfers grab it and parrot it. You're doing the work of executive level minded people that think infinite growth is possible, that MAUs always have to go up. Not sure if it's only the West. I'm not saying it's only the West. It's very Western, though, Paul. It's very Western. I mean, you want to get all the way down to the bone marrow here. You talk about the American dream. Well, the American dream is an ever-increasing trajectory of up. House, picket fence, 1.5 children, dog, promotion, car. Like, ding, 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 ding. There's no serenity within just existing. It's no, I must I must ascend. I must progress up. Like this is a very American thing. Like, and this is Microsoft. So that's why I hear it and I just get so irritated by it. I'm like, you're just parroting the executive level view of the market that we must get infinite growth. We must get more users. And you're trying to project that on to every developer, to the market. And you're trying to do it by demonizing something that's a very common business practice within the gaming world. Don't you see how sinister that is? How manipulative? I think it's why it raises my hackles and I get frustrated by it. We're not having a debate about video games. We're having a philosophical debate. It's so much deeper. There's so much deeper things going on beneath the surface here. It is 100% a Western business philosophy driving marketing points, and then you got these good little boys and girls out here just gobbling it up and parroting it for Xbox. The biggest company in the world has you propagandized to just say what you want them to say. And I'm sitting here thinking, why do you think Nintendo is so successful? Do you think Nintendo is going to be wringing their hands like, oh, we only sold another 150 million Switch 2s. We needed 200 million. Like, no. I don't know how much that is in my currency, but buddy, the color changed. That's a lot, I think. Hang on. Let me I want to thank you for what you just did. I think that's $25. Very generous. Thank you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the most important thing for streaming is the server's quality. Speaking Sony Pictures, it has 80 MPPs compared to Netflix's 25. Film's less compressed. My point is, PlayStation Cloud worked better than Xbox Cloud 4 months ago. Lona has 0.5 kid. The 1.5 kid thing is a stat. It's always been a funny stat. 1.5 children, yeah. It basically is like you on average people have between 1 and 3 children. They don't have half a kid walking around. So again, I think patience is needed here. Patience is needed here because the people that are driving these messages, they will be proven wrong. This gen will end. The Nintendo Switch 2 will have its run for 7 or 8 years. And I'm here to tell you, all of these people will be wrong because these companies don't agree. They don't. They have a fundamental different business philosophy. Yes, they want profits to increase. They want share value to increase. The method of getting there is not through, oh, we must have infinite growth of users, and if we can't get it, then we're done and we failed. No. PlayStation's taking very specific angles and approaches to getting more users. Nintendo, I think Nintendo Switch 2 has been packaged, and even its design is set up to look like a more serious handheld in an effort to get new consumers. I do. I think Nintendo wants more people. I don't think Nintendo's like, we don't want more people, stop at 150. But I don't think they're going to be wringing their hands and thinking, oh, we failed if the Switch 2 tops out lifetime sales at 150 million. Do you see what I'm saying? Like a Western company would look at that like, you're always selling to the same people. Phil has said this as a negative. You're always selling to the same people. He sees that as a negative. I don't think Nintendo would see that as a negative. If they sell another 150 million Switches and they keep that user base going and they keep those healthy revenue streams going, I don't think they would see that as a failure and be like, well, forget the Switch 3, forget the next thing, whatever it is. We're not going to do it because we're only selling to the same people. I think they would say, good job, everybody. Let's do that again. What can we innovate on? How do we keep these people coming back? What can we do next? Can we try to reach below this gen and try to reach the generation below in age bracket? Can we get younger people? Can we get older people? Right? They're going to try to maximize the user base, but they're not going to chalk it up as, oh, we're only selling to the same people. Failure. exclusives are bad, so, you know, we're being anti-consumer, we better put our games everywhere. I'm convinced that the craziest thing I have seen in this community is how readily people will argue against their own self-interest to make a console war talking point. Preach. Preach. You're more interested in parroting your side's talking points than actually having some reflection and thinking about what this means. Is it question or question? It's exclamation point question, and then you just put a space, and then you type your question. And I got one more here from Spider Senseless, and then the queue is open. Do you think Sony run into the same issue next gen for people only staying on previous gen like PS4 and Call of Duty? Well, I think every gen adoption rate is a challenge, and I think those challenges are always met with, you know, certain successes and certain approaches. And I think this gen, you'll see movement with GTA 6, and then if the rumors are correct and Call of Duty next year is not on PS4, you'll see big movement there as well. Lona, I want you to know how many political comments I'm not making right now. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being a gray stone. A gray rock, I mean. I do like console wars from a healthy mind perspective, but Xbox is doing everything wrong. I would like to see them thrive. Beat PlayStation on a generation at least. Yeah, so this is a difference I've noticed. Herman Hulst and Hiroki Totoki, they talk about what they're doing and the results. Phil and the head of Xbox Game Studios, they talk about what they're doing, but then they talk about the market, and they try to create a vision of like truth or axioms about the market to then justify their decisions. I don't know. I find that to be a very interesting difference. Oh, I owe you guys some members. You guys did 3 super chats. I owe you 3 members. Hang on. I'm going to bump this to 405. That puts us a 20 bomb away from 425. I tell you what. Yeah, I'm just going to throw down a quick gauntlet. If somebody 20 bombs us to 425, I'll just 20 bomb. I'll celebrate the super chats, the generosity. I'll celebrate the fact that we hit 400 and are on pace. I think I owe you guys members anyway. So I'll just match a 20 bomb right now. I'll match it. For some of us, the Switch 2 will be the final chance to bring us back to Nintendo. I believe it, Derek. There's a lot of people that would love to come back, but they have to have some level of performance of like, come on, man, it's 2025. I got to be able to play Zelda at 60. Like, come on, like, come on, man. I finally spent 100 plus hours on Switch, but I do not regret not buying it. Phil talks about what they think we want them to do, and they do something completely different. Lono, you have a politician charisma, the good side of it. Well, I appreciate that. I'll buy every Nintendo console for the rest of my life. I mean, with what I do, I kind of have to, but I'm with Derek. I stopped playing my Switch, and it kind of makes me sad. You know, it kind of makes me sad. It's like, I wish that wasn't the case. You know, I wish that I would have played, you know, Tears of the Kingdom to completion. You know, I wish I would have, because I really liked Breath of the Wild, but like that was a very in between time. Like, that was an in between time. It was like I wasn't quite fully only 60. Like, I was still willing to play a game at 30 back then. I tried with Tears and I couldn't do it. Lono's a woke lib. I love when I get called that. Yeah. He's a wokey. He's a lib. I'm like, I am? He's an alt-right. I am? That's news to me. Oh, Oblivion? Yeah, Nate the Hate says announcement soon, and before June it's going to get released. It seems like it got shuffled back, which is interesting. Very, very, very interesting. All right. We can't extend anymore. We cannot extend anymore, but you guys have 7 minutes. You have 7 minutes. I did throw down a gauntlet. If we get a 20 bomb in the next 7 minutes, I will match the 20 bomb. I will bless the audience by matching that, and then we are going to have to go to the green room. We are going to have to go to the green room because we got to have time to plan the next day. And I had a late start today because I get a sick kiddo. Thankfully, it's just strep. It wasn't like we were getting kind of worried. Poor little guy. It was kind of like adorably pathetic. He was having a rough go. So we were glad to find out and get him on meds and then get him on the mend. Playing on my Switch feels like I'm drinking warm out carbonated beer outside in the rain. That's very specific. That is very specific. Oh, hang on. It's still set to private. And this next segment is called the Green Room, and you have to be on Member Plus and above to come to the live show. So if you want to be a part of the next live show and the next discussion, you do need to be at a Member Plus or above. There we go. There we go. I got to set up redirect. You guys have 6 minutos. 6 minutos. 6 minutos. All right, there we go. 6 minutes. 6 minutes Turkish. All right. Nintendo better figure out how to modernize their game interfaces and menus and options because they are literally more than a decade behind on basic functions. Now that I wouldn't hold my breath on. I wouldn't hold my breath on their netcode getting better. I wouldn't hold my breath on them suddenly, I don't know, changing a lot of the UI interface and button stuff. That's they're a little stubborn. They're a little stubborn in that department. And they kind of can be. Like, you know what I mean? They can. They can be stubborn and kind of do whatever they want. Oblivion remake on Unreal 5. Does that mean Bethesda's switching their internal Unreal 5? Once it's officially announced and we know it's on Unreal, I do think there's a discussion there and maybe even a video there that I would like to make. Because I think that really changes the discussion about the Elder Scrolls 6 and the creation engine. If people get a taste of Oblivion remade in Unreal 5, oh boy. Oh boy. You better watch out. You're going to accidentally chop off Elder Scrolls 6 legs, dude. Because I don't think creation can go toe-to-toe with a really well-built Unreal Oblivion. I just don't think so. It's not entirely accurate. It's not fully remade in Unreal, just the graphics. Wait, what? How does that work, Lone Wolf? What's the base? And what's the engine then? Is it a hybrid between UE4, UE5? Is it a hybrid between creation and UE5? What do they... Like I said, we need an official announcement, but I don't know. I heard remade in Unreal 5, and I'm like, they're using the base engine? Well, then that could be a path forward for Elder Scrolls 6 then, couldn't it? Couldn't they do the same thing? Oh, Gamebryo is the original engine. So it's not creation. I was really hoping the whole thing was in Unreal and it would put pressure on Bethesda to do Elder Scrolls 6 in Unreal. Because Unreal's come a long way. It really has. Like, Split Fiction's running in UE5 and it's great. Like, I think Unreal 5's come a long way, and it would have been great. Like Oblivion lands, it's remade in Unreal 5, and it would put pressure on Bethesda to do that, to like leave Creation. I think Creation Engine is just that's an albatross. I just don't think they can use it anymore. And maybe this rumored code-altering update for Starfield is a path forward for Creation. Maybe it's a path forward for, Elder Scrolls 6. I don't know. You guys got 2 minutes. I'm going to spam a link in chat. We're going to go to Green Room. I owe you 3 members. I threw down a gauntlet. If somebody does a 20 bomb, I'm going to match a 20 bomb right at the end. You don't have to. We had a great day. We're right on pace. I'm not worried. I'm not pushing it. I just want y'all to know I was going to bless a lot of folks if we did that right at the end. If not, I owe you 3. I'll just do a 5 bomb to end the day. So you guys have 2 minutes. They've moved the tools forward. People don't really understand how they work. In what tools are you speaking of specifically, El Duderino? Are you speaking about the tools in Gamebryo, or are you talking about the tools in Creation Engine? Nintendo being simple is part of their charm. I don't disagree. Oh, people don't understand how an engine works? All right, 60 seconds. I'm going to spam a link. I'm also going to redirect. If you can't come with us, they have added the upgrade button to the iPhone and to the Android. You just go to the members tab on this channel and you click upgrade. And then you can come with us. It's a $6 membership instead of a $5 membership, and it gets you into the daily Green Room discussion. No buzzer beaters today. I mean, you guys did extend. You freaking crushed it. And then we'll do a Death Stranding stream tomorrow with Madam. It'll be so fun. Her watching me play that, I think, is going to be hysterical. She's been watching me play it lately. There it is. Okay, we're at 2:30. That's the buzzer. I'm going to spam a link in chat. Oh, wait, hang on. I need to do the 5 that I owe. I owe 3, but I'm going to do 5 for the super chats that hit. Yeah, we're on pace for tomorrow. Maybe stretch. Maybe we'll do a stretch goal, and you guys we'll make Madam play for a little bit. I think it'd be so funny to watch her play. All right, there's the link in chat. Hey, thanks so much for being a paying member on this channel. Green Room is a daily segment that is only viewable to the paying members when it's live, and we appreciate you guys so much for being at Member Plus and VIP. People continue to upgrade and pick up Member Plus, and we thank you so much for that. And if you ever try to watch this later, it'll be in that members only playlist if you want to watch that VOD. We're still making that available to you as well, and we appreciate your support of the channel and your patronage. If you're watching the end of the previous stream, you can come with us. You just got to grab a Member Plus membership for $6. I'm going to end that stream and change that thumbnail.